In a dimly lit room, a golden-haired man kisses the woman in his arms deeply. "Why did you kiss me? You said you wanted to forget everything." This man possesses a mysterious power. With just a touch, he can completely transform someone's appearance. And the woman in his arms has just endured a nightmare. She was ruthlessly abandoned by her husband and nearly killed by his mistress. At her lowest point, this man saved her. Now she decides to rewrite her fate. With a new face and a new identity, she returns to face those who hurt her and take back everything with her own hands. Just a few days ago, Letitia suddenly received a notice from her husband Aster. "Let's get divorced," he said contemptuously. "I'm not joking. I've fallen in love with someone else." Letitia simply cannot accept any of this. It was her family's money that helped him overcome one business crisis after another. Now that the debts are barely paid off, he wants to cast her aside? Aster responds impatiently. "We're even. Your father's death has nothing to do with me." Really nothing to do with him? It was precisely because he kept delaying repayment that Letitia's family ran out of funds and ultimately went bankrupt. Her father, the head of House Violet, chose to end his life because he couldn't bear the crushing debt. And the only reason he was willing to help Aster like this was because he was his beloved daughter's husband. Letitia asks with a trembling voice, "Are you going to marry that woman?" Aster won't even look at her properly. "Stop with this nonsense. Let's talk about compensation. Money? Can money bring my father back to life?" The next second, his fist slams heavily into her face. "What can you do besides complain? Even your father would be ashamed if he saw you like this. I'm sick of you, moping around all day. Even the servants look down on you." He removes his wedding ring and throws it on the table. "Let's divorce. I want to live a truly happy life with the person I love." Before leaving, he doesn't forget to add one final insult. "Oh, by the way, Leonica can give me children, but you never can." Letitia hides alone in the garden, trembling all over. She can't have children, and it was clearly Aster who caused this. During an argument in their youth, he pushed her down the stairs. Since then, she lost the chance to become a mother forever. Back then, he cried and apologized, promising to marry her and spend his life making amends. But now, he has completely forgotten his vows. He has fallen in love with someone else and even says the same words to that woman, "Leonica, you're my only one." Just when she is most desperate, Aster's parents appear. "Aster told you everything, didn't he?" his mother says coldly. Letitia wants to explain the truth about why she can't conceive, but she's directly cut off. If a woman can't even take care of her own body, who else can she blame? "I'm glad my son is finally free." She even sneers, "I suggest you leave here while you can, though I doubt anyone else would want you anyway." At that moment, Letitia feels like she's fallen into an icy abyss, her last glimmer of hope completely extinguished. Just then, Aster's father pats Letitia's shoulder. She expects a word of comfort, but only receives even more chilling indifference. "Child, no matter how hard a sparrow tries, it can never catch up to a crane." After saying this, they turn to leave. Aster's mother turns back one last time and says, "For old time's sake, we've prepared a carriage for you. Go wherever you want, just don't come back." Letitia looks at the old carriage and the few pieces of luggage. The fine clothes and jewelry she brought have already been picked over by this family, leaving almost nothing. Suddenly, a basin of cold water is poured from upstairs, instantly drenching her. "Oops, it was an accident. Are you all right?" Aster's sister Olivia leans against the railing with a contemptuous smile. "I packed your luggage myself, you know. Have a safe trip." Letitia trembles, not from the cold, but because of the dress Olivia is wearing. "That's a keepsake my grandmother left me." Olivia just turns around provocatively. "Hurry up and leave then. I'm not seeing you off. I still need to clean the room to welcome the new guest." Letitia freezes in place. "New guest? Are they letting that woman move into her room? Wait, it can't end like this. You can't treat me like this." She collapses to the ground, tears falling silently. Beatings, mockery, contempt. All the scenes surge through her mind. This place is no longer her home. With no choice, she returns to her family home. But when her stepmother Jenna sees her disheveled state, she only shows disgust. "Aster divorced you? On your wedding anniversary?" Letitia bows her head and apologizes. But her stepmother only gets more agitated. "If we hadn't invested in your husband, how would our family have gone bankrupt? How would your father have been driven to desperation? And now you've been divorced." Finally, she coldly utters the cruelest line. "I heard your sister died of illness. You're so useless. You might as well have died with her. Get out." She pushes Letitia hard with her fan. "Leave and don't come back." Letitia is driven out once again, remembering her father's warm smile and seeing herself now with nothing. She comes to the turbulent river and can't help but think of ending her life. Just then, a familiar voice sounds coldly, "What are you doing here playing the victim?" She turns around and sees Aster and his mistress Leonica nestled together. Aster looks at Letitia with impatience, but gently holds Leonica's hand, afraid she might slip. Leonica's face is flushed, clearly immersed in the sweetness of love. "Thank you, Aster. I'll just say a word and come back. You can take as long as you want, Leonica." There's a tenderness in Aster's eyes that she has never seen. Leonica walks forward and thoughtfully wraps a cloak around Letitia's shoulders, then holds her cold hands. "My God, your hands are so cold. Want to take a walk by the river together?" If she hadn't stolen her husband, Letitia would almost be fooled by this kindness. She shakes her off. "No." Leonica's expression immediately looks aggrieved, but what she says next sends chills down the spine. "Don't you want to know what happened before your father died?" "What did you say?" Letitia's pupils contract sharply. Finally willing to look at me properly, properly? Leonica instantly drops her disguise, her eyes sharp, but quickly returns to sweetness. It seems your late father is truly important to you. She laughs coldly. Look at you, such a terrible temper. No wonder Aster hits you. She gestures for Leticia to follow her toward the river. Relax, come with me. If Aster follows, you won't hear anything at all. But, she adds contemptuously, don't get too close to me. I don't want to smell the stables on you. Leticia tightly grips her skirt, suppressing her anger, until they reach a secluded spot by the river. She can no longer hold back and slaps Leonica hard across the face. That was for insulting my father. Leticia stares at her coldly. We're even now. You can start your so-called chat now. Leonica covers her swollen face in disbelief. But the next second she bursts out laughing. My God, you're really interesting. Leticia, do you know what someone determined to die does as their last act? They modify their will. But my father didn't change his will, Leticia says seriously. That's not true. She sticks out her tongue. Playfully, he was going to change it. He planned to leave all of House Violette's assets to you. She smiles sweetly but speaks with icy words. So here's the question. If he couldn't change the will, who ultimately benefits? Leticia jolts in realization. It's her stepmother, Jenna. Jenna was originally a distant relative of House Violette. After her husband died, she had nowhere to go with her young son. Leticia's father married her out of sympathy. If her father had successfully modified the will, she wouldn't have been able to seize the family assets or drive Leticia out. Do you still think your father left willingly? Leonica approaches step by step, her voice low and coaxing. Jenna's former husband. Did he really die of illness? If you don't believe me, go ask around in the small village where she used to live. Why are you telling me all this? Leticia asks. First, I hate Jenna. She once tried to seduce Aster, even pretended to be drunk and threw herself at him, but Aster didn't pay her any attention. And second, Leonica suddenly leans in with a sinister smile, and the next second she viciously stabs a knife into Leticia's chest. Because I think you're so pitiful. Dying like a fool, so very pitiful. She pushes Leticia hard into the river. Goodbye. Go join your father. Leticia's body keeps sinking, the icy water enveloping her, memories flooding in like a tide. Her father, her family, deception and betrayal. She hates her own naivety, hates this absurd ending. Just as her consciousness begins to fade, a pair of hands gently cradles her face. Then a kiss falls on her lips. Don't cry. Who is it? Leticia asks softly. If you don't want to ruin your throat, don't talk. The man warns in a low voice and kisses her again. After some time, Leticia opens her eyes and finds herself lying in an unfamiliar room, her chest wound properly bandaged. You're awake? A cold voice comes, trembling every night, needing me to hold you to sleep. What a hassle. The golden-haired man frowns, yet he's breathtakingly handsome. Leticia recognizes him. Prince Theon, the child of miracles of the Westeros Empire. Your Highness, why did you save me? I should ask first. Aren't you the daughter of House Violette and the daughter-in-law of House Winchester? How did you end up stabbed and in the water? Memories assault her again, and Leticia instinctively covers her aching chest. Theon suddenly leans over her. I worked hard to stop the bleeding. Don't move. He lowers his head and gently kisses her wound. Leticia panics and tries to stop him. Please wait. Just then the door is pushed open, and a man sighs helplessly. Good God, Lord Theon. She just woke up and you're already bullying her? He is Theon's aide, Langham. He turns to Leticia and apologizes politely. Sorry, miss. Lord Theon isn't a bad person, just has a rather unique personality. He continues to explain. We're currently on a Westeros passenger ship. Westeros is located west of Northland and is the legendary last dwelling place of the gods, hence it's called the Holy Empire. Because of this, special individuals are occasionally born into the royal family. Theon possesses divine power and is honored with the title Sol. Leticia is even more confused. Why would such a powerful person save her? Langham continues. When Lord Theon and I arrived in Northland, we happened to find you washed ashore by the waves. For the week after, you were struggling on the brink of death. Lord Theon had to treat you intimately, never leaving your side. So it was this kind of skin-to-skin treatment, Leticia says awkwardly. Did you tell my family that I'm still alive? She asks. Yes, but when I sent a messenger, I found they had already held your funeral, saying you committed suicide by jumping into the river in front of your stepmother due to depression. Leticia's eyes widen in disbelief. Theon gazes at her quietly. But you have a stab wound. That's not the truth, is it? Did your stepmother do it? It wasn't her, Leticia answers in a low voice. It was my husband's mistress, Leonica, the lady with pink eyes and blue hair, the aide says in surprise. I heard she cried especially hard at your funeral. Hearing this, hatred nearly tears through Leticia's chest. Theon suddenly speaks. Do you still plan to return to your husband? No, he's very likely an accomplice too. Her voice trembles but gradually becomes firm. I can't die. The ones who should pay the price are them. Theon's lips curve up. Your eyes have changed. I have a plan that will let you get perfect revenge, he proposes. Seeing Leticia's surprised gaze, he extends his hand to her, his smile enticing. Make them suffer worse than death, yet unable to die. Do you want to try? As long as you do as I say, the wealth, reputation, and life you lost, you can take it all back. What's the price? The price is, Leticia Violette must completely disappear from this world. This condition is so simple it makes her uneasy. What do you want from me? Theon smiles softly and sits by her bed. You're quick to react. I'm pleased. His gaze is profound as he continues. In Northland, someone killed a person I cherished. I want you to infiltrate the social circles and find the real culprit. He caresses her face, his fingertips warm yet irresistible. I will change your appearance, give you a new name, a new life, so those who abandoned you will never recognize you again. Change my appearance. Is that really possible? Leticia hesitates. Of course, Theon's lips curve up. Because I am the all-powerful soul. Leticia still doesn't understand. Why would you help me like this? We don't know each other. We met at your wedding. We're not complete strangers, Theon replies. His fingers gently slide across her cheek, tenderly tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. Then he lifts Leticia's left hand and licks the ring she hasn't removed. Back then, I gave you a piece of advice. Stay away from Aster Winchester. That day, the otherwise quiet wedding attracted much attention due to the arrival of a distinguished guest. The soul of Westeros, Prince Theon, came in person. I heard he has divine power and can exorcise demons and cure diseases. He came with Northland's second Prince Calix, the guests whisper. Leticia can't help but turn around, and immediately sees the golden-haired man radiating dignity and nobility. Aster's mother takes the opportunity to boast. All of this is thanks to me. Princess Anna is my childhood friend, which is how we could invite such a distinguished guest. While she busies the kitchen preparing dishes to the Saul's taste, she doesn't forget to mock Leticia. Really? Your father, marrying off his only daughter, how can there be no sincerity at all? Hearing this, Aster immediately shows displeasure, and Leticia can only lower her head. At this moment, Olivia excitedly suggests, Mother, let's ask the soul to give us a blessing. She goes to invite him herself, but soon returns huffily. He said unless the bride and groom come to ask personally, it's out of the question. For the sake of dignity, Aster is unwilling to go. Leticia forces a smile to comfort him. This would help the family's reputation, but he replies coldly, Since you insist, then go. The two just approach the princes, and second Prince Calix jokes with a smile. Well, aren't these today's newlyweds? Leticia and Aster bow respectfully. But before Aster can speak, Theon asks directly, Are you also here for a blessing? Aster answers reluctantly, If we receive the Saul's blessing, our family's difficulties will surely be resolved. But Theon only sneers. I can't even remember your names, and you actually believe a blessing will bring good fortune. His gaze is cold as he refuses without hesitation. I cannot bless your family. Please leave. At that moment, Aster's face turns pale. He feels unprecedented humiliation. Seems I asked the wrong person, Aster says through gritted teeth, then turns and walks away, leaving Leticia alone. She chases after him but is harshly shaken off. This extremely face-conscious man puts all the embarrassment on the bride. I told you not to come! Watching his angry, retreating figure, Leticia can only silently swallow her grievance. But Theon's mockery drifts over lightly. He just storms off like that, leaving his own bride standing here. What Leticia does next surprises everyone. She gently lifts her skirt and gives Theon an elegant curtsy. I sincerely apologize for disturbing your highnesses with selfish desires. I wish you a pleasant evening. A glimmer of interest flashes in Theon's eyes, and his lips curve up. Then let me give you a blessing. Run away. Leticia freezes. I mean it literally. Escape from that bastard boy. By his side, you'll never be happy. But Leticia at that time was still deeply in love with Aster. How could she be swayed by a stranger's words? She bows silently and turns to leave. Seeing this, Theon can't help but sigh. What a fool! Now, battered and bruised by so-called love, Leticia finally allows Theon to remove the wedding ring for her. He picks up the ring, examines it for a moment, and casually throws it on the ground. Memories surface, and Leticia's heart aches again. She takes a deep breath and asks firmly, Can you really help me get revenge? Theon smiles slightly. Yes. Then I accept your proposal. Deal. Now then. He leans back lazily and lightly lifts one foot. Kiss the top of my foot. Leticia freezes. Langham quickly explains from the side, in Westeros, this is the sacred ceremony of pledging loyalty to royalty. Our ancestor was a demigod. This is the way to establish a covenant. It means you're willing to dedicate the rest of your life and obey completely. Theon gazes at her with final confirmation. Once you choose to obey me, Leticia Violette will disappear forever. I'm willing. She rises and walks toward him, her voice clear and firm. I was a foolish woman scorned by a mistress, enduring until I was nearly dead. A stupid daughter who emptied the family fortune for a cheating husband and indirectly caused her father's death. And now, I have the chance to erase all of this. She bends down and devoutly kisses the top of his foot, then raises her head, her eyes filled with unprecedented devotion and determination. You promised to help me get revenge. Please make it happen. Theon cradles her face with both hands and softly calls her soon-to-vanish name. Leticia Violette. He raises his hand over her head, divine power flowing like light. From this moment until death, you will serve me as my vassal and obey me absolutely. Enveloped in light, she sheds a tear, bidding farewell to her past self. He gently pulls her into his embrace. Don't worry about the future. I won't tell you things like, it's okay to fail, or, I believe in you. But you don't need to belittle yourself either. He releases her and formally declares, from this moment, Leticia Violette no longer exists. Your name is Anna Rose Victoire, the daughter of an Earl of the Duchy of Cantor. Before the mirror, Theon gently lifts Leticia's hair. This transformation is enough that even your own parents wouldn't recognize you. At this moment, her originally golden hair has turned jet black, her features more defined and exquisite, and her eyes hold a sharpness they never had before. Theon shows off his work to Langham with a touch of pride, and the aide sincerely praises, "Miss, you're as beautiful as someone who walked out of a classical painting." Then Langham takes her to get dressed. Halfway there, Leticia suddenly stops and bows solemnly to Theon. "Thank you. No need for thanks. What I value is your worth." Theon raises his hand and gently touches her face, his voice low. "If you don't want to be abandoned, fight with all your might to survive, Leticia." Then, as Langham helps her with her appearance, he says softly, "I didn't expect you and Lord Theon already had a connection, and now you've become traveling companions." He gets to the point. "From now on, you'll live as the daughter of an Earl of the Duchy of Cantor, Anna Rose Victoire. Over the next year, you'll need to study etiquette, accent, and feminine deportment in the duchy to fully integrate there." Leticia has heard of Cantor before. This country, located south of Westeros, values ability over gender, and women can also inherit titles and wield power. This was once the place of her dreams. After all, in Northland, women don't even have the right to inherit family estates, but she still can't help feeling anxious. "I've never left Northland. Can I really do this?" Langham confidently pats his chest. "Don't worry, the duchy uses the continental language. I'll assist you fully this year, and no one will suspect a thing." Leticia is about to nod in agreement when she accidentally pulls at her wound and winces in pain. The aide quickly suggests, "Go find Lord Theon. He can heal you immediately," he reassures in a low voice. "Don't let his distant manner fool you. He's actually not difficult to get along with. You don't need to deliberately please him. He only values worth and never dwells on personal feelings." So she hesitantly walks to Theon's door and knocks gently. The door opens. Theon leans casually against the doorframe, golden hair falling loose, his expression lazy yet captivating. "What is it?" "My wound has opened again." She tries to explain, but he directly brings her into the room. During treatment, she can't help but ask softly, "Why won't this wound heal?" "Because someone coated the blade with something." "It's not that my ability is insufficient." He raises his hand and light flickers briefly. Her pain instantly dissipates. "Thank you. I feel much better," Leticia says gratefully. He gently strokes the top of her head, but his words are cold. Taking care of one's horse is a master's responsibility. This comparison makes her uncomfortable, yet a barely perceptible longing stirs in her heart. She can't help but think of her newlywed days with Aster. Suddenly, Theon's expression darkens. "Are you still clinging to the past?" But he immediately raises an eyebrow and changes tone. "Though, how did you provoke those people? You don't seem like the type to make enemies everywhere." Leticia clenches her hands and smiles bitterly. "Maybe it's precisely because I look too easy to bully." Theon lightly taps her hand with his finger and continues to press. "Why are women in Northland so easily bound by marriage? Your husband openly appears in public with his mistress like that." His words pierce her heart like needles. Leticia explains in a low voice. "In Northland, a man's infidelity is not considered shameful. As long as it doesn't threaten the position of the legal wife or the heir, it's tacitly permitted." Theon suddenly curves his lips, a hint of playfulness flashing in his eyes. "Then what if it's a married woman having an affair? In Northland, a married woman who has an affair is immediately sent back to her family home and must pay emotional compensation to her husband and in-laws. Her children also lose their inheritance rights." Leticia's voice grows quieter, and she can't help but ask softly, "Your Highness, why are you asking these things?" Theon quietly leans closer and whispers in her ear, "Because I want to have an affair with you." Leticia freezes on the bed, barely able to breathe, but he raises a smile and continues to press closer. "But you were abandoned before you could have an affair, and you have no children who would lose inheritance rights. Moreover," he leans down, his nose nearly touching the side of her neck, "you're already dead, so you don't need to pay any compensation at all." His fingers brush the edge of her skirt, making her tremble slightly. Then he suddenly lowers his head and gently bites her neck, his voice seductive yet cold. "If the affair partner is worse than the ex-husband, that would be ridiculous. That's not rebirth, that's degradation. From any perspective, I'm a decent affair partner, don't you think?" But just then, a tear falls on his face. He looks up and sees Leticia is already in tears. She asks with a trembling voice, "Is this what my worth means?" The first half of her life she was used and treated as a tool. She thought this time she could truly start over. Could the opportunity she fought so hard for still only be to become someone else's plaything? With that, she pushes him away. "I'm sorry, I'll return to my room now." Then she hurries away. In the hallway, Langham clearly sees the tear stains on her face and can't help but sigh at Theon. "Why must you tease her like this? She's already pitiful enough." "She ran off before I could finish speaking," Theon says dismissively. "But you only wanted to propose pretending to be lovers, didn't you?" Speaking so suggestively, no wonder she misunderstood. "Enough noise. Help me change." Theon interrupts him, unwilling to say more. Yes, you're always right. The son of Westeros's chancellor is at your service." But Langham still adds softly, "If you really care, go explain it clearly." That night, Leticia is trapped in a nightmare. Swamps, Leonica chasing her to kill her, countless hands dragging her into the abyss. Just as she despairs, a pair of hands grabs her. She looks up and actually sees Aster, but he only coldly releases his grip, letting her fall. The next second, Leonica's knife pierces her chest again. Letitia jolts awake, her heart aching so much she can barely breathe. She walks into the kitchen, picks up a bottle of alcohol, just wanting to numb herself with drink. But she's suddenly interrupted by a voice. "What are you doing?" Theon snatches the bottle from her hand, his tone stern. "Drinking when your wound hasn't healed? You're quite bold. The wound hurts too much. I can't sleep. If it hurts, why didn't you come find me?" Theon is somewhat displeased. Just then, Letitia's body sways and falls backward. Theon quickly grabs her collar, exposing the wound faintly bleeding beneath the bandage. "Look what you've done. The consequences of drinking," he scolds in a low voice, but a faint glow emanates from his hand as he heals her wound once more. Letitia buttons her clothes and says softly, "I must have displeased you." "Thank you." Theon only glances at her haughtily. "How troublesome." Then he sits on the sofa and gestures for her to sit as well. "It seems in the future, I can't just joke with you casually." Letitia freezes slightly. "So those words earlier were all just jokes? When I said I wanted to have an affair with you, it's just part of the revenge plan," Theon explains flatly. "Even if you're an Earl of the Duchy of Cantor, as a woman alone it's very difficult to establish yourself in Northland. You need my authority as cover." He looks directly into her eyes, his tone calm. "If I only saw you as a plaything, I wouldn't have made a deal with you from the start." Letitia immediately falls silent, her cheeks quickly flushing crimson. So she overthought it. "I misunderstood, Your Highness. I don't know how to properly apologize." Theon watches her shy demeanor and suddenly curves his lips. "If you really want to apologize, how about kissing the mouth that once gave you that blessing?" Letitia's face turns even redder. Theo deliberately provokes her. "Didn't you say you'd do anything for revenge?" She immediately understands. This is a test. So she takes a deep breath and moves closer to him. "Then please close your eyes." Theo chuckles softly. Such an innocent act. She steels herself, leans down, and plants a gentle kiss on his chest. "Is it here?" "No. A little higher. That's where the lips are." Theo's voice is deep. She carefully kisses his lips, pulling away immediately. Theo suddenly stands up. "Are you doing this on purpose?" She apologizes innocently. "It's been so long since I've kissed anyone. Should I try again?" "No need. Go rest." He turns his head away, his tone somewhat unnatural. After Letitia bows and leaves, Theo yanks open his collar, muttering to himself, "Why is it so hot?" He looks down with a frown, examining himself. Here, too. At this moment, Langham pushes the door open and sees him disheveled, immediately falling silent. After a long pause, he speaks expressionlessly. "I'm requesting emotional distress compensation, Your Highness. Please approve." "Langham, get out." The next morning, Letitia is awakened by the noise outside her window. She walks onto the deck and finds Langham arguing with an old sailor about ship management. As soon as he sees her, Langham immediately smiles and greets her. Letitia feels uneasy. Is something wrong with the ship? Both men immediately fall silent. The old man quickly covers up. "Noble miss, nothing serious, please don't worry." But Langham coldly responds from the side. "Right, nothing serious, the engine just exploded, that's all." "Will the repairs take long?" Letitia asks. "At least an hour or two." "Why don't you take a walk around the port in the meantime?" Langham suggests. Seeing Letitia hesitate, he persuades her. "After leaving here, you might not be able to return to Northland for a year. Consider it one last goodbye." Letitia can't help but smile bitterly. They wanted her to completely leave her past behind, yet now they're telling her to say goodbye? But Langham is already enthusiastically ushering her to change. "Don't hesitate. We have several dresses on board. You'll look absolutely beautiful in them." Standing before the mirror, Letitia gazes at her unfamiliar face and whispers, "It's unbelievable. Is this really me?" She gently touches her features, a bold thought suddenly crossing her mind. Just then, Langham walks in with a dress, and she can't help but ask, "Lord Theo is so handsome. Was he also transformed by divine power?" Langham bursts into laughter. "Oh my goodness, miss. How could you think that? I'm sorry to tell you, that face is completely natural." Letitia can't help but laugh as well. Then the servants help her change, and in the white dress, she looks like an elegant white camellia, fresh and stunning. Langham exclaims in admiration, "You're so beautiful." He then asks thoughtfully, "Are you familiar with the routes around the port?" "Of course. I've come here often with my merchant father since childhood." But Langham is still concerned. "The security in this area isn't great. Let me send a guard with you." Soon, a female guard with short pink hair steps forward briskly. Langham introduces her. "This is Alex Wolf, known as Swift Blade, very capable." Letitia extends her hand warmly. "I'm Leticia Violette, pleased to meet you." But Langham gently shakes his head. She immediately realizes and corrects herself. "I'm Anna Rose Victoire." Alex gracefully takes her left hand and places a gentle kiss on it. Alex Wolf, honored to meet Countess Anna Rose Victoire. The two disembark together. Letitia can't help but marvel. "I didn't realize the ship I was on is so magnificent." "This is Westros's pride, the Platinum Paradise," Alex introduces. The name suits it perfectly. Letitia affirms. Just then, a grating voice comes from behind. Flashy and impractical, only fools would like such an ostentatious ship. The voice is all too familiar. Letitia's body stiffens and she slowly turns around. It's actually Aster's mother and sister. She hurriedly turns back around, her heart racing. They haven't recognized her and are cheerfully discussing their own ship, the White Traveler. Only now does Letitia notice that Aster's family ship is docked not far away. She was careless. Olivia's voice drifts over again. Mother, now that our business is going well, shouldn't we get a new ship? You're right. If only we'd claimed that girl's death benefit back then. Letitia's eyes widen instantly. She can't help but turn around, just in time to hear Olivia say mockingly, "That woman was useless when she was alive, and just as worthless dead." Aster's mother chimes in agreement. It's all because Aster is too soft-hearted, thinking Letitia died because of him. He wouldn't even claim the insurance payout. What a waste on her stepmother. What would she know about using that money? She then mentions Leonica. Thank goodness for her. When they marry, she'll definitely bring a huge dowry. She's the only survivor of that great fire, now the sole heir of the family. The two laugh heartily after speaking. In that moment, the fear in Letitia's heart completely transforms into rage. How long has she been dead? This family has already become so cold and indifferent. Just then, Olivia notices this elegantly dressed stranger. She approaches with a fake smile and asks, "Oh my, judging by your attire, you're from abroad, aren't you? Which continent are you from? We haven't seen foreign visitors here in so long. I'm so delighted to meet you." The sudden face-to-face encounter leaves Letitia frozen in place, unable to utter a single word. "Miss, don't you understand the Northland language? What about continental language?" Olivia still doesn't give up, and Alex looks at her with concern. Letitia feels suffocating pressure but can't make any sound. Just then, Alex naturally steps forward and gently takes her hand. "My lady, we should go back. Let me take you to the appointed place." Only after sitting down in the restaurant does Letitia gradually calm down. Alex asks softly, "You know those two, don't you? They're my former mother-in-law and sister-in-law." "Just now. Thank you," Letitia says gratefully. "You don't need to thank me. Everything is for Lord Theo." Alex smiles gently. After the food is served, Alex gently encourages her to eat more. Changes in weight can sometimes alter a person's appearance, even making them unrecognizable to acquaintances. Feeling this thoughtfulness, Letitia finally shows a hint of a smile. "All right, I'll eat well." But just then, a familiar voice comes from behind her. "So you're here! Didn't expect you'd be hiding in a place like this." It's Aster. Letitia's hand trembles, and her utensils clatter to the floor. She whispers to Alex, "That's my ex-husband. Please stay calm. He absolutely won't recognize you. The more flustered you are, the more suspicious it becomes." Alex soothes. Letitia lowers her head, trying hard to calm herself. At this moment, the man accompanying Aster speaks up. "I've really missed the taste of this place." Letitia recognizes him as Viscount Bandel Bryce, Aster's good friend who had also attended their wedding. Seeing that neither of them has identified her, Letitia feels slightly relieved. Alex stands up and suggests, "Let's leave here slowly." Unexpectedly, Bandel suddenly questions Aster loudly. "Better off dead? Is that something you say about your late wife?" But Aster responds coldly. "After the divorce, she had nowhere to go, and she can't have children who would want her." "You knew she had nowhere to go and you still divorced her?" Bandel asks back. "I'm not a charity. That woman was as selfish as me, knowing full well that Leonica and I truly love each other, yet she refused to let go." Aster's words grow increasingly cruel. "She jumped into the river just to make me feel guilty. I found it unlucky, so I didn't even claim the insurance payout." Letitia, who had just stood up, freezes in place as tears silently fall. She had thought he didn't claim the insurance out of guilt, but she never imagined he just found her unlucky. Until the very last moment, the man she loved most deeply was betraying her in the cruelest way possible. Seeing Letitia losing control of her emotions, Alex quickly whispers, "My lady, we should go." Unexpectedly, Bandel has already noticed her crying and asks with concern, "Miss, are you all right?" Alex quickly stands in front of Letitia, responding coldly, "We're fine. Please continue your conversation." But Bandel insists. In Northland, ignoring a lady in tears is considered impolite. "If there's anything you need, please do tell me." Alex shows slight impatience. "I already said we're—" Just then, a deep and alluring voice sounds. "Sorry, I'm late." Theo gently lifts Letitia's tear-stained face, his tone indulgent yet helpless. "We've only been apart for a moment. How did you end up crying like this? What am I going to do with you?" His appearance puts Letitia somewhat at ease. Alex immediately plays along seamlessly. "What took you so long? You've made the lady cry. It's my fault." Theo naturally pulls her into his embrace, like lovers deeply in love. "I'll never make you wait alone again." He walks out with his arm around her shoulders, his voice gentle yet firm. "I'll buy you anything you want." Then he glances coldly at the two men behind them. "Let's go." Walking on the street, Letitia still can't stop crying. Theo can't help but ask, "Still crying for him? Do you still love him?" "No, I don't love him anymore. This is just the last bit of attachment." She knows clearly in her heart that what she's clinging to is just the phantom of her childhood sweetheart. These tears are nothing more than the last sap seeping from rotten branches. She raises her hand to wipe away tears, unwilling to disappoint him. But Theo gently wipes away her tears with his fingers. You cry so easily, you're so fragile, and you never know how to hide your emotions. She thought he would comfort her, but the next second he shows a mocking smile. If it were me, I'd rather bite my tongue and die than let anyone see me like this. He releases her and turns toward the carriage. You need a more complete awakening. I have something to show you. Behave and follow. The carriage heads out of the city, finally stopping only when night falls. Letitia is stunned. This is the house Winchester Cemetery. She asks uneasily, why did you bring me here? But no one answers. Theo and Langham simply lead her forward in silence, stopping only when they reach a gravestone. Theo's gaze is cold. See for yourself whose grave this is. Letitia slowly steps forward and is shocked to see her own name carved on the gravestone. Letitia Violette Winchester. At this moment, Langham explains quietly from the side. In Northland, people bury the deceased's beloved possessions with them. Flowers, photographs, dolls, items that represent their life. But in front of Letitia's grave, there are only a few trampled daisies. She bends down to pick up the crushed flowers, but before she can feel sad, she hears Theo's calm voice without a trace of emotion. Letitia, aren't you curious? What exactly is buried in your coffin? I don't want to know, Your Highness. Letitia resists somewhat, but Theo gives her no chance to hesitate, directly ordering someone to dig up the grave. Soon, Letitia's coffin is revealed. He taps on the coffin lid with his hand, his tone mocking. They actually used cheap material? Then he signals to open the coffin. The shovel strikes heavily against the coffin. The next moment, everyone holds their breath. Letitia's eyes widen, unable to believe those people hated her to this extent. There's no body in the coffin at all, only a pile of rotting, stinking garbage. The pungent smell spreads, and people around cover their noses and mouths. But Theo pulls her close and continues to press. I heard that in Northland, people bury things that symbolize the deceased. Now that you've seen it with your own eyes, do you still miss the past? Letitia can no longer bear it. Her vision goes dark and she faints. Theo catches her, commenting indifferently, so fragile. Langham can't help but interject. The lady must be extremely shocked, but Theo responds calmly. If she can't let go of the past, she won't truly awaken. This is the pain she must experience on the path of revenge. Langham sighs helplessly. Your method is effective, Your Highness, but you never know when to hold back. When she wakes up, please apologize properly. She must be trapped in a nightmare right now. After some time passes, Letitia finally wakes up to find herself lying in Theo's room. Theo is sitting nearby handling business. She tries to quietly get up but is stopped by him. Lie down a bit longer. Your fever just broke, and your emotions haven't settled. After a long silence, she finally speaks with a choked voice. What did I do wrong? I just loved someone with all my heart. Is this devotion destined to endure humiliation until death? Theo stands up, walks to the bedside, and kneels on one knee, looking at her seriously. It's not your fault. Loving sincerely should never be blamed. You just chose the wrong person. But Letitia still can't let go. Perhaps I shouldn't exist at all. It might be better to just end everything. In this moment, Theo suddenly freezes. He's seen her cry many times, but only now does he truly feel heartache. Perhaps Langham was right. She's reached her limit physically and mentally, and the tough love went too far. He can't help but reach out, gently stroking her hair and saying softly, Letitia, just as a sheep can never become a wolf, this is your nature, and there's nothing wrong with it. He gently wipes away her tears and says softly, You've done nothing wrong. He cups her face in both hands, gradually drawing closer. His voice deep and seductive. You just chose the wrong person. You're not the one who should pay the price. It's that ex-husband who didn't know how to cherish you, and the calculating mistress. Before love, you never need to feel ashamed. This time, Letitia's tears are no longer bitter. Finally, someone is willing to cherish her broken heart, and she closes her eyes, stopping her tears. Theo's lips curve up, finally stopped crying. His fingertips gently brush across her lips as he asks in a low voice, Do you still feel so heartbroken you can't breathe? He leans in close, their breaths almost mingling. Though this isn't a Saul's duty, but as a man, I'm willing to help you. Letitia gently grasps his collar and asks in a trembling voice, This way? It won't hurt anymore? I promise. He places a gentle kiss, and she closes her eyes to respond. In this moment, she holds a funeral for Aster in her heart. In the past, she was always timid and cowardly. Even she herself hated being that way. Now she understands that what she should hate isn't her past self, but those who pushed her to such a state. She should learn to love herself. And also, as if reading her thoughts, Theo chuckles softly. That's right. You only need to look at me. Then he kisses her deeply again. The two spend an extraordinary night together. After dawn, Letitia says softly, Thank you, Your Highness. I won't be like this again. I'll work hard to become a useful tool for you. Please don't abandon me. Theo looks at her quietly. Every time you say this, I hate Letitia Violette even more. As she looks bewildered, he smiles slightly. But I hope I will fall in love with Anna Rose Victoire. Her face immediately turns red, he says while getting dressed. Once we reach the Duchy of Cantor, Langham has arranged all your courses. Before we leave, if there's anything you want, tell me. She hesitates for a moment and says quietly, If possible, I want a flower, even just one. Why a flower? Theo asks. A friend once said that after spending her first night with her lover, she received a bouquet of flowers. I was envious because I've never received flowers. After speaking, Letitia quietly takes her leave. Theo looks toward the vase by the window. What she wants is so simple. That day, Letitia and Alex spend the entire day exploring the port. Though tired, she's rarely this happy. In the evening, Alex escorts her back to her room and leaves. She pushes open the door and freezes instantly. The entire room is bathed in bright moonlight, every corner adorned with blooming flowers, like a dreamlike garden created just for her. Remembering her cautious wish from this morning, she sheds tears of happiness for the first time. She only hoped for one flower, but he gave her an entire spring. In that moment, she silently vows that for Theo this year, she will become the perfect Anna Rose Victoire. Time flies, and in the blink of an eye, Letitia has spent a fulfilling year in the Duchy of Cantor. She catches sight of Astor's photo in the newspaper and dismissively sets it down. This year, what sustained her was her hatred for Astor and her longing for Lord Theo. She's lost in thought, wondering what Theo might be doing at this moment, when a gentle male voice interrupts her. Anna Rose, what are you thinking about? It's Marquis Edgar Beaumont. Letitia takes a small sip of tea to cover up. Nothing really. What else would someone living under another's roof think about? Unexpectedly, he immediately becomes agitated. How could you be living under someone's roof? Don't say that. You're clearly a precious friend of the Beaumont family. The Beaumont family, a marquis house in the Duchy of Cantor renowned for winemaking, also the mentors Theo arranged for her. This year, they taught her Cantor's intonation, customs, and culture, and more importantly, they provided her with the identity documents for Anna Rose Victoire. Letitia smiles softly. You're so good with words, Edgar, but he looks at her with a melancholy expression. I heard you'll be returning to Northland soon, and I heard you have some unfinished business there. The Letitia of today is nothing like her past self. She lifts her head confidently, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. Yes, I'm ready, but Edgar becomes increasingly hesitant. Anna Rose, I'm worried that after you leave, you might encounter a storm somewhere. Thank you, Edgar. She smiles gently. Edgar's face immediately turns red. I know saying this is somewhat crossing the line. He gazes at her earnestly. But I hope before you leave, you can reconsider. Before he finishes, a voice suddenly interrupts. Reconsider? The newcomer has the same red hair as Edgar, confident and flamboyant. It's his sister, Marjorie Beaumont. She mercilessly mocks her brother. If you know you're crossing the line, then shut up. Storm? You slept through all your literature classes. Stop pretending to be poetic. That's hilarious. She turns to Letitia, raising an eyebrow. Rose, why are you spacing out listening to his nonsense? How can you call yourself a woman of Cantor like this? Letitia responds composedly. Sorry, Marjorie. Doesn't Cantor have a saying? Set sail with the wind. Time is precious. I shouldn't waste it. Marjorie immediately claps, her face full of relief. Who would dare treat you like a foreigner now? She then rushes forward and hugs her. Letitia also smiles happily. It's all thanks to my teachers. This year, Marjorie has patiently accompanied her in learning culture and etiquette, becoming her most important friend. Thinking of this, Letitia says sincerely, Marjorie, I've always been so grateful to you. Marjorie happily kisses her. I adore you. She then takes out a document as a reward for her year of hard work. Letitia opens it and finds it's her brand new identity document. Marjorie solemnly announces, from today, Victoire officially becomes a collateral branch of the Marquis Beaumont family. Please take care of me, cousin. Letitia looks at this document in disbelief and hugs Marjorie emotionally, but Marjorie pushes her away with a smile. It's too early to be moved. Before she finishes speaking, a figure approaches from behind. It's Langham, whom she hasn't seen in a year. Long time no see, miss. You look much better, he says with a smile. Entrusting the Beaumont family to care for you was indeed a wise decision. Letitia can't hide her excitement. How have you been? Is the year up? Are you here to take me back? Seeing her eager expression, Langham's smile deepens. I still assist His Highness Theo daily, busy as usual. He takes out a letter and hands it to her. I came here to give you a test. Letitia takes the letter and gently opens it. Inside is a tea party invitation from the Duke Sullivan's house. Marjorie explains from the side. Every early summer, the Sullivan family hosts a grand tea party, and almost all Cantor nobles are invited. Langham nods and adds, this is the best opportunity to validate your new identity. If you want to be recognized as a true Cantor noble, this tea party couldn't be more suitable. So, what counts as passing the test? Letitia asks. Very simple. Throughout the entire tea party, not a single person identifies you as a foreigner, Langham says solemnly. This is His Highness's test for you. Soon it's the day before the tea party. Marjorie helps Letitia choose a dress in the dressing room, finally selecting an elegant white gown. This is your debut. White couldn't be more perfect. Letitia feels a bit embarrassed. I've already been married once. What debut? Marjorie pats her back, encouraging her enthusiastically. Be confident, Rose. Your Cantor language is fluent. As long as you don't get stage fright, no one will suspect you. None of us are perfect, but you have every right to hold your head high, because you've worked so hard. putting on the dress, Letitia gradually regains her confidence. Marjorie keeps chattering. Don't be afraid. You didn't do anything wrong. It's that couple. You're not a criminal. But Letitia says with a soft laugh. But I am a criminal. Identity fraud, forged documents, and fraud charges. Marjorie is momentarily speechless, frozen in place, and finally turns her head stubbornly. So you're not wearing the dress I chose then? Letitia answers with a smile. Of course I'll wear it. You specially chose it for me. They then pair it with a set of blue jewelry. Everything is ready, just waiting for tomorrow's tea party. At night, Letitia lies in bed, feeling somewhat nervous. Amidst her anxious heartbeat, she gradually falls asleep. In her dream, she transforms back into her former self. Leonica and Aster are intimately embracing, mocking her with cold sarcasm. Aster contemptuously sneers at her as a stumbling block to happiness. Just then, a hand grasps hers. Theo descends like sunshine, dispelling the darkness around. He carefully examines her face and says softly, "Your complexion is much better, but your eyes are still so gentle, as if they could shatter at any moment. But strangely, your fragility is somewhat attractive to me." Letitia can't help but raise her hand to gently touch his cheek. "Your Highness, you smell like the sun." Theo lowers his head to kiss her hair, murmuring, "And you smell like tears, salty and bitter, yet with a hint of sweetness, like silk dampened by night rain." In his warm embrace, she feels unprecedented peace, and unconsciously shows her vulnerable side. "Every morning when I wake, every night when I sleep, I still feel somewhat weary." Theo gently lifts her in his arms. "If that's the case, tonight I'll help you fall asleep." He walks forward over flower petals scattered on the ground. She nestles in his strong arms, murmuring happily, "Thank you for the flowers. I'll always remember this gesture. They're just flowers. I can give you better things than flowers." In the dream, they sleep in each other's arms, immersed in the tranquil night. Dawn breaks, and Letitia's lips still carry a trace of a happy smile. In the morning, they take a carriage to the tea party. Letitia is still immersed in last night's dream, unconsciously whispering, "It's unbelievable, as if His Highness really came to my side." Marjorie interrupts her thoughts with a smile. "Rose, what are you thinking? Nervous?" She chats cheerfully along the way, doing her best to help Letitia relax. Soon, Duke Sullivan's estate comes into view. Letitia gracefully descends from the carriage holding her skirt, her posture elegant and noble, like a goddess descending. Edgar's face turns completely red, exclaiming repeatedly, "My goodness, Rose, you're as dazzling as a princess." Marjorie complains from the side. "Look at you being so smitten, you've never praised me like this." Edgar isn't backing down, pointing at the decoration on her shoulder to retort, "Sea anemones can talk now." Naturally, Marjorie chases after him to hit him. At this time, the nobles' carriages arrive one after another. Marjorie excitedly pulls Letitia. "Let's go, it's time to let everyone admire you, this blooming rose." Suddenly, a man speaks sarcastically behind them. "Oh my, isn't this the famous Marjorie Beaumont?" Marjorie raises an eyebrow and looks him over. "Oh my, who are you?" "Not very famous, can't quite remember." He immediately gets flustered. "Stop pretending. We've clearly met several times." Edgar quickly smooths things over. "Count Hayden, long time no see," but Marjorie has no intention of letting it go. "I say, how long are you going to follow behind me looking for trouble? Your fiancé is my fan, yet you keep stalking me. That's not quite normal, is it?" Count Hayden stamps his feet in anger. "We clearly arrived first." At this moment, his fiancée Sharon comes over, looking at Marjorie with admiring eyes. "Lady Marjorie, you're so beautiful today. More dazzling than the shells on your dress." Count Hayden stands to the side, his expression growing increasingly unpleasant. Sharon notices Letitia and asks curiously, "Who is this?" Marjorie immediately takes her hand and introduces solemnly, "This is my cousin, Countess Anna Rose Victoire." Sharon quickly praises, "No wonder she's so elegant, she's Lady Marjorie's relative." Suddenly, a familiar voice interrupts. "Oh my, you're a countess from the Duchy of Cantor? Haven't we met in Northland?" Letitia's heart skips, not expecting to encounter Olivia, but she quickly regains composure and responds with a smile. "We admired ships together at the harbor port, right?" Olivia is ecstatic. "You remember me? Your profile was so beautiful, I've never forgotten it." Then, Olivia greets Edgar. Edgar responds politely, "I've heard that Mr. Astor Winchester's white tea business is very popular in Northland recently." Olivia is even more delighted. "You actually know my brother, what an honor." Letitia notices that Edgar and Marjorie's expressions suddenly become grave. They've obviously learned from Langham about her experiences in Northland. Edgar continues asking, "I heard that Westeros white tea is very suitable for Northland's water quality, but Northland people initially didn't accept white tea's tartness. Why did your brother still insist on this business?" Olivia fidgets with her fingers, saying embarrassedly, "Initially the whole family opposed it, but my brother accomplished it through his own efforts." In an instant, Letitia's expression darkens. Back then, she was the one who fully supported Astor, trusted him, even at the cost of dragging down her own family. Now all the credit has become his alone. However, she soon shows a barely perceptible smile. Heaven has given her a chance to start over, and her enemies remain unchanged. That couldn't be better. At this moment, Letitia's gaze falls on Olivia's handbag. The pattern looks strangely familiar. "Your bag is truly exquisite," she softly compliments. Olivia immediately becomes excited. "Beautiful pattern, isn't it?" She also displays the fan in her hand. They're a matching set, custom made from rare silk. Letitia's eyes darken slightly. As expected, this is remade from the heirloom her grandmother left behind. She casually probes, No wonder it's so special. This pattern would look beautiful as a dress too. Oh my, how did you know? It was originally remade from a dress. What a shame. Since it was originally a dress, why alter it? Letitia asks. Olivia immediately puts on a heartbroken expression. Actually, this is a memento my late sister-in-law left me. Every time I see them, I think of her. How I wish time could go back to before she left. This hypocritical performance only ignites Letitia's fighting spirit. She says calmly, in our canter, there's a baron who, to mourn his wife, has kept her room intact for 40 years. It's said he still keeps it spotlessly clean, as if his lady could walk through the door at any moment. Olivia hasn't caught the deeper meaning yet, and agrees with a smile. It seems every country has similar ways of remembering family, but she doesn't expect Letitia to suddenly counter. But Miss Olivia, why would you cut up clothing left by your family and make it into a bag? In an instant, Olivia's face turns pale, speechless. Eyes from all around turn toward them. She hastily explains, I was afraid that keeping the dress in a room would make me slowly forget by turning it into something I can always remember my sister-in-law. Sharon immediately feels sympathy. Oh my, Olivia, you're so kind. But Letitia's gaze grows even colder. Olivia couldn't even fit into that dress. Yet on the day she was driven from the house, Olivia deliberately wore it, mocking her to the extreme. And now she's even cut her grandmother's precious heirloom into pieces. Just as she can barely control herself, Marjorie gently touches her hand and whispers a reminder. Hold it in! Langham might be watching from somewhere. At this moment, Olivia continues her performance. My sister-in-law's birth family was very unfortunate. Our whole family wanted to warm her with love, but she was never happy. Olivia squeezes out a few tears. Perhaps she couldn't feel our sincerity. After her last relative passed away, she followed them too. Sharon gently comforts the sobbing Olivia, but Edgar looks toward Letitia with concern. Marjorie immediately takes over and responds for her. Speaking of which, how did Miss Olivia come here from Northland? I wanted to see the scenery of Cantor with my own eyes, so I came traveling alone, Olivia answers with a smile. How surprising. As far as I know, Northland is especially conservative toward women. How could they allow an unmarried woman to travel abroad alone? Olivia seems to have been hit on a sore spot and becomes speechless again. Then she makes up a new excuse, because my mother is very open-minded. She wants me to see more of the world. But Letitia knows all too well. Olivia's mother extremely favors sons over daughters. Now that Astor is successful in his career, she would never miss the opportunity to have her daughter use this to climb up the social ladder. Behind this, there must be some unspeakable secret. At this moment, the Duchess of Sullivan appears gracefully. She says with a smile, very pleased that everyone could attend today's tea party. Please don't stand at the entrance. Refreshments and drinks are prepared inside. Please come in. Everyone enters one after another. Letitia glances back at the smiling Olivia. She secretly vows in her heart, everything she suffered, she will repay double. The venue is beautifully decorated. Letitia looks around curiously. Suddenly, a small cat catches her attention. It has a unique marking around its left eye, which at first glance looks like wearing a monocle, inexplicably resembling Mr. Langham. The kitten meows at her in a friendly way, instantly melting her heart. She has always loved cats, but never kept one because Astor is allergic to cat fur. She's about to crouch down to pet it when she sees Edgar waiting ahead. She reluctantly leaves. After being seated, she orders a cup of tea with cream, according to Cantor customs. Marjorie orders black tea mixed with red wine. They quietly enjoy the music. Soon, several gentlemen come to exchange pleasantries. Long time no see, Edgar. Been busy lately? Haven't seen you at the yacht club, one gentleman asks. Edgar responds with a smile. The wine is about to launch. I need to oversee every step. The other turns to praise Marjorie. Miss Marjorie, you're radiant as always today, dazzling like coral in the sea. Marjorie sees through their intentions at a glance. Thanks for the compliment. But I'm not the one you really want to meet, am I? The two become a bit embarrassed. One of them says, then I'll be direct. May I ask who this lady beside you is? At first sight, I thought she was a beauty who stepped out of a famous painting. Marjorie proudly introduces, this is my cousin. Beautiful, isn't she? Letitia is secretly amused. In reality, she's actually 2 years older than Marjorie. She introduces herself gracefully. Hello, I'm Anna Rose Victoire. The other gentleman seems to know something about the Victoire family. I heard Victoire is a collateral branch of House Beaumont, so the Count has a daughter? The atmosphere suddenly becomes a bit awkward. Fortunately, Edgar cleverly responds, yes, even after several generations, the Victoire family's black hair remains glossy and black. Truly remarkable. The other can't help but agree. That's right, their family's hair is especially black. In this way, they successfully deflect the question. Afterwards, guests come to greet them continuously, and the name Anna Rose gradually spreads. After a while, Letitia feels a bit tired and plans to go to the lounge to relax briefly. Unexpectedly, on the way, she inadvertently hears Sharon complaining to her fiancé. Her sapphire ring vanished just before leaving the house. A suspicion immediately surfaces in Letitia's mind. Olivia used to steal her things frequently. This time, could Could it be her again? She pushes open the lounge door and suddenly runs into Olivia. At that very moment, the other hastily hides something in her sleeve. At this moment, Letitia is almost certain of her suspicion. She casually strikes up conversation. Miss Olivia, what do you think of Cantor's tea party? Olivia's expression is somewhat unnatural. The atmosphere is a bit unfamiliar to me, but it does have Cantor's unique charm. She adds ingratiatingly, the Count and Miss Marjorie are truly popular. So enviable. You're too kind. I'm just basking in Marjorie's glory, Letitia says. Everyone gathers around you both, like petals clustering around the pistil. Hearing this, Letitia immediately understands. Olivia is not popular at this tea party, which is why she's been secretly observing them. She must be hoping that men would be curious about her as a foreign woman and gather around her. So she asks casually, by the way, what is Miss Olivia doing here? I'm a bit tired from the journey. I wanted to rest for a moment, Olivia answers, feigning fatigue. Then rest well. Don't mind me. After saying this, Letitia discreetly glances at the vanity. Olivia's cosmetics are neatly arranged, completely untouched. Has she given up her bad habit of stealing? But recalling the past, Letitia decides to test her once more. She loosens her hair bun, pretending to take a nap on the sofa, and seemingly casually places the sapphire hairpin on the table. Sure enough, the hairpin immediately attracts Olivia's attention. Her eyes brighten slightly. After more than 10 minutes, desire finally wins. She tentatively calls Letitia's name softly, but Letitia only pretends to be sound asleep, breathing steadily. The lounge is silent, with only the two of them, each with their own thoughts. At this moment, voices suddenly come from outside the door. Olivia seizes the opportunity, quickly grabs the hairpin and slips out. The door is pushed open again. Letitia slowly opens her eyes. She walks to the vanity. The hairpin is indeed gone. At this moment, two ladies greet her in a friendly manner. Letitia pretends to have just woken up and softly asks the time, then surprisingly discovers the missing hairpin. Oh my hairpin is gone. It was a gift from someone very important to me. The two ladies enthusiastically offer to help her search, but they search every corner and find nothing. They can't help but ask, Count, are you certain the hairpin was lost here? I'm certain. I just took it off before sleeping. Letitia doesn't directly accuse Olivia to avoid alerting her. Instead, she holds one of the ladies' hands and says sincerely, thank you so much for helping me search. She knows well, only by first winning others' trust, then expanding the matter, can the plan proceed smoothly. At this moment, a clear ringing suddenly sounds. Letitia immediately recalls the long-standing tradition in Cantor's social circles. The ringing means that royalty or an equally distinguished guest has arrived. All guests must pause their activities and gather to greet them. Soon, everyone gathers. The Duchess of Sullivan announces with a smile, thank you all very much for attending today's tea party, and at this moment, an unexpected distinguished guest has come specially. Letitia can't help but wonder, could it be the King of Cantor himself? At this moment, the curtain lifts gently, and that distinguished guest walks out slowly. She instantly widens her eyes. The visitor is actually Theo, whom she thinks of day and night. The guests present immediately whisper excitedly, it's Sol! He actually came in person. This is so rare. Letitia's heartbeat involuntarily quickens. Is he here specifically to see her? She recalls his whisper in her ear from the past. I will make you completely forget your ex-husband. Now, her heart has indeed long been occupied by Theo. But the next second, she forces herself to be clear-headed. We're only in a transactional relationship. He must be here to test my performance. Don't flatter yourself. Focusing on passing the test is what matters. So she composes herself and joins the conversation of the ladies nearby. Never thought I'd see Sol in person. How can he be so handsome and noble? Marjorie also comes closer. She quietly teases, you're not getting nervous just from seeing his highness, are you? At this moment, Letitia is still hesitating. The hairpin matter was interrupted. Should she continue pursuing it? At this moment, Marjorie suddenly notices Letitia's change. Why is your hair down? Where's the hairpin? I took a short nap just now. When I woke up, it was gone. Their conversation catches Sharon's attention. Lady Anna Rose, your hairpin is gone? Could it have been stolen? Letitia feigns panic, perhaps. Gradually, the surrounding guests also notice the commotion here and start discussing. Who did it? How dare they steal the Count's things? Olivia pushes through the crowd, exclaiming dramatically, oh my! Count, what happened? Seeing her take the bait, Letitia's gaze darkens. She suddenly grabs her hand and says excitedly, Miss Olivia, do you remember what color hairpin I wore today? Of course it's green. No, it's blue, Letitia calmly corrects. She knows all too well Olivia has always favored blue the most. In the past at House Winchester, the items she accidentally lost most were blue ones. And today, she happened to wear blue jewelry, exposing Olivia's true nature. She says with feigned confusion, how strange, Miss Olivia. While chatting in the lounge, I fell asleep, and when I woke up, the hairpin was gone. These insinuating words make Olivia freeze on the spot. Whispered discussions immediately arise around them. A foreign heiress would do such a thing? But according to the Count, who else could it be but her? Olivia forces herself to remain calm. Yes, I also remember the Count took off the hairpin before sleeping. She changes the subject, trying to shift suspicion. But I left immediately after you fell asleep. The hairpin was still on the table then. Think again. Did anyone else enter the lounge after that? These words immediately provoke those two ladies' displeasure. One of them says angrily, "When we entered, the Count had just been woken up, and she discovered the hairpin was missing. Are you suspecting us?" Olivia is immediately speechless. Letitia takes over at the right moment. "Miss Olivia, about what time did you leave?" Olivia answers, "Before 5 o'clock. I seem to vaguely recall hearing the clock chime. That should have been 5 o'clock sharp?" "Indeed. We also heard the chime on our way to the lounge," one lady confirms. Letitia softly draws a conclusion. It seems then that the hairpin had already disappeared before the two ladies entered. The details gradually become clear. Discussions rise and fall around them. Olivia suddenly chokes up. "Oh my, Count Victoire, are you suspecting me?" She sobs while defending herself. "Accusing me of theft without evidence is really too much." Sharon immediately softens. "I believe Olivia isn't that kind of person. She just arrived in Cantor not long ago. Perhaps there's some misunderstanding." But Letitia looks at Sharon seriously. "Have you recently lost any valuables as well?" Sharon immediately recalls the vanished sapphire ring. Olivia hastily denies, "It wasn't me. How could it be me?" But the guests' discussions cannot be calmed. Even Sharon's ring is missing. "Isn't this too much of a coincidence? No, it really wasn't me." Olivia is almost breaking down. "If you don't believe me, search me. Come on." Seeing the situation getting out of control, the Duchess of Sullivan appears at the right time. "I heard there was a theft at the tea party. Is there anything I can help with?" Olivia grasps at this like a lifeline. "Please testify for me. If possible, please search me yourself. If you do it, everyone will surely believe." The Duchess sees through her intention and suggests doing it inside. But Olivia insists on being searched publicly. "Only this way can I prove my innocence." The Duchess has no choice but to agree. She first checks Olivia's handbag. It's empty. Olivia shows a confident smile. Then the Duchess pats various parts of her dress and announces, "Nothing on her person." This is exactly the outcome Olivia wanted. But Letitia won't let it rest. "May I also confirm, Miss Olivia?" With the Duchess's tacit approval, she steps forward and starts checking from the sleeves. To avoid awkwardness, she deliberately avoids private areas like the chest. Olivia is smug again. "See, I told you there's nothing." Unexpectedly, Letitia suddenly crouches down and reaches toward her hem. "Don't you want to prove your innocence? Please don't move. I haven't finished checking." Olivia immediately panics. "What are you doing? Let go! Let go of me now!" Letitia's fingertips deftly hook her garter and then snap it forcefully. Olivia falls to the ground in pain. With a light thud, a sapphire ring rolls out from under her skirt. Sharon picks up the ring and whispers in disbelief, "This is exactly the one I lost." Olivia's face turns ashen, unable to say another word of defense. "Sharon, it's not like that. I just happened to find the ring. I was planning to return it to you later." But Sharon doesn't believe this absurd explanation at all. "If you found it, why didn't you tell me? You clearly knew I was looking for it. And you also knew Hayden specifically chose a sapphire bow tie to match it." "Wait, I can explain." Olivia breaks into a cold sweat in her panic. However, it's not over yet. Letitia holds up a makeup brush and says calmly, "Besides the ring, I also found this brush from the lounge missing. It also just fell from you." Olivia immediately loses control and shouts, "This one really wasn't stolen by me. Really?" In her agitation, she lets it slip. The Duchess immediately seizes on the key point. "This one really wasn't? So the other things were indeed taken by you, correct, Miss Olivia?" Olivia still quibbles. "How could I possibly steal? My brother is Astor Winchester. My family is immensely wealthy. What reason would I have to steal?" At this moment, Theo, who has been silent all along, suddenly speaks, probably because it's become a habit. "If I'm not mistaken, you were suggested to travel abroad by your own country precisely because of repeated petty theft, weren't you?" Olivia's face instantly turns deathly pale. Langham adds calmly from the side, "We usually call this situation deportation, madam. Those are all baseless rumors. I've never taken anything from anyone. What about other people's husbands then?" Langham doesn't back down. Olivia Winchester, second daughter of a Northland Marquis family, still unmarried after 3 social seasons, enjoys horse racing and had a scandal with the racetrack manager, Baron Robin, son-in-law of Duke Karl Hirschbent. After the affair was exposed, you hastily left the country and haven't returned since. Am I wrong? Hearing this, Letitia suddenly recalls some past events. She was once friends with Duke Hirschbent's only daughter, Larissa. Larissa often said, "I don't trust men. I only need their excellent genes." So Baron Robin from a foreign land was chosen by Larissa. But this handsome yet philandering foreign baron could never give up his womanizing ways. Although Larissa didn't care, her father couldn't tolerate it. He didn't deal with Robin directly, but dealt with all the women around him. Since then, no woman dared approach Robin. Who would have thought Olivia would be so recklessly bold? At this moment, the Duchess of Sullivan steps forward again. She wears a smile, but her tone brooks no argument. "Miss Olivia, please come with us." She then signals the servants to escort her from the venue. After Olivia leaves, the Duchess apologizes to the guests present for this disturbance and arranges for the concert to continue. After Letitia returns the makeup brush, the Duchess nods and leaves, but she still wants to recover that hairpin. After all, it was bought with money Theo gave her. At this moment, Langham's voice comes from behind. "Madam." Letitia is slightly startled, then looks at him expectantly. "Do you need me for something?" Langham smiles slightly and points to a spot not far away. "His Highness wishes to see you." As the sun sets, Letitia follows Langham to the greenhouse. Theo is already waiting there. She curtsies gracefully, softly. Your Highness, have you been well? But Theo suddenly pinches her cheek, his tone carrying reproach. Why take such a risk? If your identity is exposed, you'll lose all value. You're too hasty. Leticia simply gazes at him quietly, then responds softly, I'm sorry. I'll be more cautious in the future. The next second, Theo lifts her face, his tone turning to appreciation. However, you're more talented than I imagined. Your tone, your bearing, all impeccable. Though the final step was dangerous, I'll forgive you this time. He leans back lazily on the sofa and smiles slightly. After all, you never showed fear before your enemy, Leticia suddenly asks. Your Highness knew Olivia would be here today, didn't you? Theo is silent for a moment, then answers indifferently. Even if I knew, so what? In an instant, she understands clearly. This tea party is not only a test for Anna Rose Victoire, but also a probe of whether Leticia Violette has truly left the past behind. Theo suddenly asks, if you hadn't found the stolen goods on her, what would you have done? Even if I couldn't find them, I had a way to frame her, Leticia answers. She only told one truth. The makeup brush wasn't stolen by her. Leticia lifts her eyes and admits softly, because I took it. I removed the brush beforehand just to prevent her from escaping easily. A trace of approval flashes in Theo's eyes. A very thorough plan, Anna Rose. But what Leticia hopes for isn't praise, but different words, such as longing. She can't help but press, why does your Highness help me? He smiles and uses a metaphor. If there's a glass about to fall from the table, shouldn't I reach out to catch it? Leticia's heart sinks. As expected, she's just a chess piece in his game. She should have understood long ago, yet she can't help hoping. Theo suddenly reaches out and pulls her into his embrace. That expression again, eyes that miss me, desire me. Are you recalling the moments when I held you in my arms? She no longer avoids actively pressing her cheek against his chest. He whispers in her ear, coaxing her to speak her true feelings. She closes her eyes and finally admits, honestly, I missed you very much. We've been apart so long. Won't you comfort me with your warmth? Then she asks softly, Your Highness, did you miss me? Theo chuckles softly. You're truly troublesome. You pitifully beg for affection, but when I come close, you tremble with fear. He gently lays her down on the sofa and leans over, gazing at her. But why should I miss you? Whenever I wish, I can hold you in my arms like this. The happiness that just surged makes her turn her face away. Any woman your Highness wants, you can easily have. I know you just pity me. Unexpectedly, he lowers his head and drops a kiss on her cheek. Leticia, you're overthinking. Then he gently bites her earlobe and murmurs softly, though I can't miss you the way you miss me, I do miss you. I miss your violet-like eyes, miss your aggrieved look when you're scolded. So you should break the habit of always denying yourself. Leticia's cheeks flush. That's very hard to change. But Theo chuckles softly, his fingertips quietly slipping into her skirt. Then the only thing I can do is this, make you forget everything. In this moment, this long night makes her reluctant to wake. The next morning, Leticia wakes in her own room. Looking at the sunlight streaming through the window, she can't help feeling some regret. She clearly knows this is just a transaction, and when it ends, they'll return to their original relationship. Yet she keeps letting herself sink deeper. Lost in thought, she accidentally knocks over the teacup on the table. The door opens immediately, and Marjorie hurries in. Are you all right, Rose? She leans in to examine Leticia's face closely, and asks with a frown, what's wrong with you? Your face has thinned so much in just one day. She suddenly lowers her voice and asks mysteriously, Rose, tell me honestly, did His Highness? Leticia immediately becomes nervous, not knowing what she's noticed. Unexpectedly, what Marjorie wants to ask is, did he scold you? Leticia's face heats up, and she responds softly, he did lecture me a bit. Marjorie comforts, don't take it to heart. Even if His Highness loses his temper, I'll always be on your side. She then brings up Olivia. That woman's character is truly bad. She pretends to be kind, but she's actually very malicious. Leticia asks softly, how is she now? But Marjorie keeps her in suspense, guess? Leticia rubs the teacup and analyzes based on what she learned. According to Cantor law, she needs to compensate 3 times the value of the stolen items. The ring, hairpin, makeup brush, she must pay a large sum. Marjorie smiles with satisfaction, worthy of being my star pupil. Leticia asks softly again, so did I pass His Highness's test? The test isn't over yet. Come downstairs with me first. Downstairs, Langham has been waiting quietly for some time. Upon seeing Leticia, he greets her with a smile. Good morning, miss. You're as fresh and lovely as a dew-kissed lily today. Thank you for the compliment. Leticia thanks him somewhat shyly. After everyone is seated, Langham takes out the hairpin. After interrogation through the night, Olivia finally confessed. She admitted to stealing the ring and hairpin, but firmly denies taking the makeup brush. The Duchess of Sullivan was furious and has placed her under house arrest. What a shame. But where exactly did she hide the hairpin? Leticia asks. Langham becomes somewhat uncomfortable. Please rest assured, we've thoroughly cleaned it. Thinking of the possible hiding place, the two fall into a tacit silence. Next, Langham takes out a box. The box opens, and inside are the handbag and fan remade from her grandmother's heirloom. Langham says softly, this is Olivia's compensation to you. Leticia is filled with emotion for a moment. She, who once had everything taken from her, has now, by her own power, reclaimed what belongs to her. Then, Langham hands over an exquisite envelope. Leticia opens it and sees it's an invitation to the Moonlight Ball. The Moonlight Ball will be held on the brightest moon day of the year. The invited nobles will hold a masquerade ball at the seaside temple, dancing through the night as devotees of the sea tea god, praying for favorable weather in the coming year. Looking at her own name on the invitation, joy surges in Letitia's heart. She has finally been recognized as a true Cantor noble. Langham adds with a smile, "This is also a test. Before the ball ends, you cannot be identified as a foreigner. Since everyone will be wearing masks, guests' attention will focus more on tone and bearing." He looks at Letitia gently. "However, I believe you can definitely do it." Then he adds, "By the way, His Highness originally planned to stay at the Duke of Sullivan's residence, but he changed his mind at the last minute and will temporarily move to House Beaumont." Letitia can't help but feel hopeful. Could it be because of her? At this moment, someone knocks on the door. Edgar opens the door and says with a smile, "Mr. Langham visiting so early. Is there something urgent?" "I came to deliver the Moonlight Ball invitation for Miss Anna Rose," Langham answers. Edgar responds happily, "Marjorie and I also received invitations." Seeing Edgar's slightly flushed cheeks, Langham notices something unusual. He deliberately teases, "Who does the Marquis plan to invite as a dance partner this time?" Edgar's ears turn even redder, and he stammers, Who else? As usual, I'll go with Marjorie in the same carriage." Seeing him glancing at Letitia from time to time while still being stubborn, Langham can't help but laugh and asks instead, "Why don't you be my dance partner?" "I'd have to be crazy to dance with you," Edgar replies helplessly. After the laughter, Letitia and Marjorie go together to have their dresses altered. In the evening, the altered dresses are delivered. Letitia can't help but open the gift box. It's a white gown quite similar in style to what she wore at her wedding years ago. Under Marjorie's strong recommendation, she ultimately chose this one. Looking at the dress, she can't help but think, when Aster and Leonica get married, they'll walk down the aisle again, won't they? Her mood sinks accordingly. After washing up, she suddenly finds a bottle of red wine on the hallway table. It was specially prepared for her by Marjorie. Letitia happily pours a glass, then downs it in one gulp, waiting for the intoxication to bring drowsiness. At this moment, Theo's voice sounds from behind. "You're drinking quite heartily." Letitia hastily turns around, not expecting to be caught by him like this again. Theo sighs softly. "Leaving you in the care of a winemaking family was a mistake." He takes the bottle from her hand, his tone softening. "Sit down. Stop swaying around or you'll hit your head." Letitia stumbles as she sits down, but accidentally slips to the floor. Theo quickly helps her up. "Stay with me. Do you feel nauseous or dizzy?" Then he can't help but scold. "Why do you always drink yourself into this state? Can't you just not drink?" Letitia says quietly. "I shouldn't even be alive. Right now, I'm just an empty shell held together by hatred. Even though I was lucky enough to meet your highness, my heart shattered the moment that blade pierced through it. I force myself to keep living, but the cracks inside me scream out every single day. So sometimes I need alcohol as my lubricant." Theo listens quietly, and after a moment of silence, he speaks. "Honestly, I've never tried to see things from your perspective, so I couldn't understand you. But in theory, you're different from those cowards hiding behind others. You've been fighting on your own for so long, even if you're pushing through, with your eyes closed out of fear. I understand that's you giving it your all." In this moment, his understanding warms Letitia's shattered heart. As he turns to leave, she gently tugs at his sleeve. "Don't go." Theo turns back, somewhat surprised. "Still not sober?" She looks at him directly. "Yes, so could you help me sober up?" The next morning, Letitia sleeps peacefully nestled in Theo's arms. After Theo wakes, his fingers unconsciously brush gently across her cheek. This rare tenderness makes Letitia's face flush instantly. She says softly, "Thank you for indulging my selfish request, Your Highness. Thanks to you, I slept so peacefully for once." Unexpectedly, Theo suddenly sits up. "In your eyes, am I just a sleeping pill?" "That's not what I meant. Did I do something wrong?" Letitia asks uneasily. "Forget it, it's nothing. Are you feeling better now?" After asking, he quickly gets dressed and leaves, leaving Letitia alone and confused. As soon as Theo steps out of the room, he runs into Langham. Seeing his unhappy expression, Langham asks with concern, "Did something happen?" Theo only responds coldly, "Nothing," and walks straight away, leaving an equally bewildered Langham behind. Time quickly arrives at the night of the Moonlight Masquerade Ball. Under the moon's glow, Edgar approaches Letitia and asks politely, "May I have the honor of being your partner for the full moon night?" Letitia replies with a smile, "Of course." Just as Edgar feels delighted, Marjorie suddenly interrupts. "Sorry, Rose already has a partner. You should just come with me, Edgar," though somewhat disappointed. He knows Letitia has a test to complete, so he offers sincere blessings. "Good luck, Anna Rose. May you have a wonderful full moon night." Marjorie excitedly pulls Letitia aside. "Put on your mask quickly. Your partner is arriving soon." Though the white mask covers half her face, it can't hide Letitia's beautiful purple eyes, which remain captivating. "So beautiful, Rose. You'll enchant everyone tonight," Marjorie says before hurrying off. Letitia waits quietly, expecting her partner to be Langham, but unexpectedly, Theo in a white suit approaches her. "Why do you look so troubled again?" Letitia asks in surprise. "Why are you here, Your Highness?" "What? Not satisfied with me as your partner?" Theo asks back. She quickly denies it, but feels nervous inside. "Does this matter require you to personally attend?" Theo extends his hand and says softly, "Give me your hand." She gently places her hand in his palm. On the way to the ballroom, he rarely compliments, "Your dress is beautiful today." Letitia responds playfully, "So I'm worthy of catching Your Highness's eye." "What if I say yes?" Theo's expression turns serious. She freezes slightly, momentarily speechless. They walk hand in hand into the ballroom, like a couple entering a wedding hall. The venue is filled with exquisite pastries and fine wines. Theo picks up a glass of wine and hands it to Letitia. Here, this prop can hide your flaw. You're not drinking, Your Highness. Theo purses his lips. I don't drink. Letitia can't help but laugh. He looks exactly like someone who would elegantly sip wine, yet he doesn't touch alcohol at all. She confesses softly, actually, before I met you, I was practically inseparable from alcohol. But after my tolerance improved, it became even harder, because I can't get drunk easily anymore. Theo raises an eyebrow. Then how did you pass out after just one bottle last time? That's because, to me, Your Highness is more dangerous than alcohol. Letitia sighs. Hearing this, Theo laughs with satisfaction. He sets down her wine glass and extends his hand to her. Come, let me see if your dancing is as perfect as your way with words. Letitia responds with a confident smile. Then please see for yourself, Your Highness. As the music plays, their dancing immediately captures the attention of all the guests. That couple dances so beautifully. That gentleman shines like the sun. Hearing the whispered praise around them, Letitia can't help but smile. Theo reminds her in a low voice. This is a test. Why are you smiling? How can I not smile? I'm wearing a beautiful dress, dancing with a very handsome gentleman, Letitia says, somewhat shy. As the song ends, Theo comments flatly, not bad, but at that moment, Letitia's peripheral vision catches a familiar figure. Even with just a blurry glimpse, she immediately recognizes. It's Aster Winchester! She panics instantly, quickly turns her face away, and suggests taking a rest while forcing herself to stay calm. Theo watches her hurried departure, frowning slightly. Letitia hides in a secluded corner, silently praying not to run into Aster. Just as she calms down slightly and is about to leave, her wrist is suddenly grabbed. The person pulls her into an embrace and swiftly removes her mask. Letitia looks up in shock, meeting a masked face. However, those eyes are all too familiar. It's Aster. This commotion draws whispers from those around, as people curiously observe Countess Victoire and this strange man. Aster realizes he's mistaken her for someone else and freezes. Letitia shakes off his hand and says coldly, how can you be so rude? But Aster still stares at her without speaking. She can't help but feel nervous. Theo can change her appearance but not her eye color. Has he recognized her? She interrupts his stare. Could you return my mask? My apologies. Aster returns the mask, saying quietly, you look very much like someone I know. Letitia silently puts on the mask. Apparently he doesn't remember at all that they briefly met at the port. Back then, he had just gotten engaged to Leonica and had no room for other women in his eyes. At this moment, a new melody begins to play. Aster suddenly bows and invites, my lady, may I have this dance? Please give me a chance to make amends for my mistake. Letitia hesitates. Could this also be His Highness's test? If so, it's far too cruel. In the end, she accepts the invitation. While dancing, Aster says softly, you dance beautifully, just like her. So that's why you mistook me for someone else? Letitia asks. Yes, you resemble my ex-wife. Letitia instantly holds her breath, but still forces herself to stay calm. I wouldn't want to hear such words from a man unless that lady is as beautiful as I am. But Aster smiles contemptuously. She's not as radiant as you. I'm surprised I even mistook you for her. Letitia sneers inwardly. He would never imagine who this radiant woman before him really is. Aster continues the conversation. Aren't you curious about me? From your accent, you're from Northland, right? Why have you come all the way to Cantor? Letitia pretends to be curious. Well, something happened with my family, Aster says vaguely. Letitia understands. He's probably here to pay compensation for Olivia, and doesn't know she's the mastermind behind the whole thing. If possible, may I know your name? Aster asks. Letitia declines. Isn't the fun of a masquerade ball in the mystery? Let's just keep tonight as a beautiful full moon memory. Aster quickly explains. Please don't misunderstand. I already have a fiancé. I have no intentions toward you. To be honest, only after meeting her did I understand what true love is. As he speaks, a happy smile appears on his face. Looking at the glaring wedding ring on his hand, Letitia feels nauseated. She deliberately leans back and says sarcastically, if your ex-wife heard these words, she'd surely be heartbroken, sir. The music ends at this moment, and she curtsies and is about to leave. This test should be passed now, right? Unexpectedly, Aster speaks again. My lady, please wait. About my fiancé, I'd like to ask a favor. My fiancé will be coming to Cantor soon, but I can't accompany her due to work. Could you recommend a guide? Letitia watches him quietly without immediately responding. Aster has to continue explaining. She has a fragile personality. I'm not comfortable leaving her alone in an unfamiliar place. You're from Cantor, perhaps. You could give me some advice. After saying this, he bows politely, but Letitia laughs lightly. My goodness, is your fiancé still a child? Is she even 7 years old? Aster's face darkens. She's already an adult. It's just that she's pure-hearted and inexperienced. She needs someone to look after her, already an adult, and still needs a guardian? She must really worry you. Seeing that her every word has a barb, Aster can't help but raise his voice. I'm only like this because I'm worried about her. Letitia sneers coldly, but on the surface acts casual. True, foreigners unfamiliar with the place do make mistakes easily. Have you heard? Recently, Recently, a foreign lady stole jewelry. In Cantor, even 6-year-olds wouldn't do such a thing. Aster immediately thinks of Olivia's incident, but still forces himself to stay calm. Could you respond to my request first? Letitia turns to look at Edgar in the distance. What do you think of that, gentleman? He's the head of the Marquis Beaumont family, from an ancient noble house. Kind and reliable. He'll certainly take good care of your fiancé. I'm sorry, I'd prefer the guide to be a woman. A man might not be convenient. Letitia tilts her head and feigns surprise. It's just making a friend. What does gender have to do with it? Northlanders are indeed conservative in their thinking. Seeing his expression darken further, she points toward Marjorie. What about that lady then? She's the sister of the gentleman I just recommended. Before she finishes speaking, Marjorie suddenly punches a man who approached to flirt with her. Both of them fall silent for a moment. Finally, Letitia politely declines. I'm sorry, it seems I shouldn't rashly recommend anyone. Since she's already an adult, she should learn to protect herself. She bids farewell again, but Aster still doesn't give up. Please wait. I think there is no one more suitable than you, if you're willing to look. After my fiancé, I'll richly reward you. Hearing his words, Letitia thinks, this man is still so arrogant and stubborn. She turns back with a smile. Since you've said so, I can't refuse anymore. After saying this, she turns and leaves, coming alone to the seaside to rest. Why was I afraid of him before, even trembling in front of him? She asks herself softly, while also feeling hesitant. Was agreeing to his request really the right decision? At this moment, a little cat quietly approaches. It's the same one from before. It lightly jumps onto her lap, affectionately nuzzling her hand. Letitia's heart instantly melts and she picks it up, giving it a gentle kiss on the forehead. But the cat suddenly widens its eyes, meows, and jumps off her lap, running away with a flushed face. Letitia feels puzzled. Can cats be shy too? Meanwhile, the cat runs all the way to a door and keeps scratching at it with its paws. Theo irritably opens the door, looking displeased. Whose cat is this anyway? How long are you planning to scratch? Unexpectedly, the cat speaks. Where else would you find a subordinate as capable as me? And you have this attitude. The next second, the cat transforms into Langham. With the cat ears still not transformed back, he complains. I have to work, gather intelligence, and act cute and adorable. I'm completely swamped. He casually shows off the kiss mark on his forehead, as if hinting at something. But Theo only cares about one thing, so did she cry this time? Though she looked a bit down, she didn't cry. Our miss is amazing, isn't she? Langham says proudly. Theo frowns. Where were you hanging out with women? Langham deliberately shows a shy expression, trying to make him jealous. Well, Miss seems particularly fond of small animals. Theo is clearly displeased, and directly changes the topic to business. What about the test results? Langham puts away his jokes and reports seriously. After Aster appeared, she didn't panic, but caught him off guard instead. Her performance was quite excellent. Early the next morning, Theo invites Letitia to have breakfast together. She feels somewhat uneasy. Being summoned so early, it must be about the ball test. She silently sits down, waiting for him to speak, but Theo absent-mindedly plays with his plate, and after a long while suddenly says, I prefer dogs to cats. Letitia is completely confused. Theo directly asks, which do you prefer? I prefer cats. Is this also a test? Of course not. After saying this, he gets up and leaves. Letitia is used to his jumping train of thought and quietly watches him leave. At this moment, she notices the clock nearby. Soon she'll have to go to the port to greet another enemy. The port is bustling with people. Letitia waits quietly, but almost all the passengers from the ship have left, and there's still no sign of Leonica. The docking time and name of this ship clearly match what Aster said. She asks a crew member, excuse me, was there a Miss Leonica Snow-Eyed among the passengers? This lady canceled her trip before departure. Letitia immediately feels uneasy. Leonica neither showed up nor notified in advance. Something must have happened. Just as she's hesitating whether to contact Aster, a familiar figure passes by her. It's Leonica's butler, Michel. Leonica clearly didn't come, so why is he here? Letitia immediately decides to follow him to find out. She quietly follows Michel through several streets, and finally sees him enter a cafe. She finds a hidden spot to sit and tries to eavesdrop on his conversation with a black-robed person across from him. Suddenly, the black-robed person raises their voice. Didn't you promise to bring them here? Neither Leonica nor that person showed up. Why are you here instead? The emotional black-robed person momentarily forgets to conceal themselves, and Letitia takes the chance to look. Under the black robe is actually Olivia. Why is Olivia, who should be detained, appearing here? And that person she mentioned, who could it be? At this moment, Michelle speaks politely. My apologies. Miss couldn't come due to urgent matters. As a representative, you may make any requests to me. What's the point of talking to you, a butler? Olivia is very dissatisfied. Our miss has done her best, Michelle says calmly. Olivia explodes instantly. I don't want your best, I want results. But Duke Karl Hirschbent is very cautious. Michelle hesitates. Hearing this name, Letitia immediately becomes alert. Isn't he Baron Robin's father-in-law? Michelle continues explaining. Duke Hirschbent doesn't trust his son-in-law at all, without legitimate reasons. He won't allow Robin to travel abroad freely. Olivia becomes emotional, almost shouting, then forge documents. You clearly promised you'd bring Robin to see me. She lowers her head dejectedly. I thought Leonica would understand me. Though she's now the legitimate fiancé, wasn't her past situation the same as mine? Michelle's expression immediately darkens. Letitia notices that Michelle is very displeased with Olivia comparing Leonica to being a mistress. Olivia chokes up. I haven't seen Robin in so long. Once I leave Cantor, I might never see him again. She suddenly clenches her fists and threatens coldly. If you keep breaking your promise, I have my own plans. She stares hard at Michelle. You haven't forgotten our deal, have you? If you can't meet my demands, I'll expose everything Leonica is hiding. Michelle only sighs lightly, madam. We've already proposed various options to Baron Robin. If he truly cared, he would have been here by now. Olivia is stunned, you mean? Robin doesn't want to see me? Michelle nods with a smile. Yes. Olivia suddenly stands up, shouting out of control. Impossible. How could he not want to see me? When I left, he risked coming to see me off, saying he'd definitely come find me. Michelle sighs softly. Then after separation, has Baron Robin contacted you? That's because Duke Hirschbent is watching him. He must want to contact me. But Michelle's next words make her utterly despair. You may not know yet, but Baron Robin's wife just gave birth to a child. Olivia says stubbornly. So what? He loves me. Michelle calmly adds another blow. Baron Robin is surprisingly family-oriented. After his daughter was born, he not only cut off all outside contacts, but also stopped visiting the entertainment venues he used to frequent. What entertainment venues? Olivia asks in confusion. He used to visit the secret club at least twice a week, including during his relationship with you, Michelle answers calmly. Now he worries his past indiscretions will come back to haunt his daughter, so he's going around confessing and making offerings. These words strike like a thunderbolt, and Olivia suddenly remembers her own words mocking Letitia. If it were me, I'd rather die. Now the boomerang hits herself. She clutches her head and screams, "You're lying! It's all lies! He promised a divorce for me. Show me proof or I'll never give up." Even though she's losing control emotionally, Michelle remains composed. Is this what you want? Olivia puts on her hat and says, show me proof or prepare to face the consequences. After saying this, she hurries away. As the conversation ends, Letitia is about to quietly leave. Suddenly a hand presses down on the back of her chair. Michelle has somehow appeared behind her and asks eerily, is eavesdropping fun? Madam, you've been following me since the port, haven't you? He leans close to her ear, lowering his voice. Tell me, who are you? What exactly do you want? Letitia steels herself to explain. You're mistaken. How could I be following you? There's only one straight road from the port to here. It's natural for people behind to follow those in front, isn't it? Michelle calmly points out. But after confirming I entered the cafe, you specifically bought a large hat and used it to conceal yourself while sitting nearby to eavesdrop. Letitia hurriedly stands up. I wasn't eavesdropping. You two were so loud I just looked over a few times. She forces herself to stay calm. If you don't want to be noticed, you shouldn't make a scene in public. After saying this, she's about to leave, but he sneers, how strange, madam. He slowly approaches, reaching his hand toward her. Though it's faint, I sense something from you. Just as his hand is about to touch Letitia's face, another hand suddenly wraps around her waist and gently pulls her away. It's Theo. He speaks calmly. Anna Rose, sorry to keep you waiting. Letitia catches on. Another improvised performance. She immediately looks at him pitifully. Why did you take so long? But it's okay. I'm happy to wait for you, she says, showing a gentle smile. Theo is instantly stunned. Letitia also notices something unusual in his gaze. The next second, he suddenly leans in. If I were you, I'd definitely be angry by now. Then he pulls Letitia into his embrace and kisses her lips. So go ahead. Be angry at me. In the cafe, the two embrace like lovers. Michelle has no reason to pursue further and silently leaves. After the kiss ends, Letitia hasn't fully recovered, but Theo already speaks with a serious expression. That person just now is dangerous. Don't go near him again. The danger you mention is... Letitia is slightly startled. He has an unusual aura. Exactly. The same as what remains on your wound, Theo says gravely. It's a trace that even my divine power can't completely remove. Deep fear instantly surges in Letitia's heart. So her death was actually connected to Michelle. But why? He's just a butler. Could it simply be to help Leonica get Aster? Theo interrupts her thoughts. Since the confidant of the woman who killed you has arrived in Cantor, there's no need to delay further. He decides to have her leave Cantor immediately and return to Northland. Letitia asks softly, I haven't learned the results of the second test yet. You passed long ago. I decided when the Moonlight Masquerade Ball ended, Theo answers flatly. Hearing this news, there's no joy on her face. She looks up and pleads, could you give me some time to say goodbye to Marjorie and Edgar? During this past year, they were the ones who gave her the most warmth and help. She really can't bear to leave like this. Theo considers briefly and finally agrees to give her 3 weeks to say goodbye. Letitia happily takes his arm, smiling and saying, thank you for your understanding. Theo also smiles. What understanding? After receiving news that Letitia is about to leave, Marjorie is very dissatisfied and complains to Langham. 3 weeks is way too short. If it weren't for His Highness's kindness to us, I'd go demand an explanation from him. Langham recalls the past. Remember when your mother owed a huge debt? His Highness helped out. Yes, Marjorie sighs. Without His Highness, we probably couldn't even keep our family estate. Back then, My brother and I were young and couldn't distinguish the authenticity of foreign banknotes in our mother's handwriting. It was His Highness who proved all the documents were forged and kept helping us until Edgar officially inherited the title, Langham continues. That's why you agreed to look after Anna Rose, to repay the favor. Don't be too sad. Marjorie can't help but sigh, but I didn't expect I'd like her this much. Miss is indeed wonderful, Langham smiles. Perhaps because she's experienced so much, she's more mature inside than her peers. As he speaks, he recalls the smile Letitia showed when she held him as a cat. But when she lets down her guard and smiles, she's like an innocent young girl. If comparing her to a flower, she's like an evening primrose. As soon as he finishes, Marjorie points at him in warning. If you have any other ideas about Rose, you better stop right now. For someone who's been hurt, a fox-like man like you is pure poison. Unexpectedly, Langham acts cute the next second, but I'm a little kitty, and is instantly met with Marjorie's disdain. But he immediately asks seriously, there's something I'm curious about. What do you think His Highness means to Anna Rose? Marjorie answers with a smile. You should ask His Highness that, not me, she asks back. Then I'd like to ask you, how does His Highness view Rose? Does he see her as a person or merely as a tool? Neither of them can answer these two questions. Marjorie carefully prepares a farewell party for Leticia, who is about to leave Cantor. In the carriage, she reluctantly leans on Leticia's shoulder. I haven't had enough fun with you yet. Don't go, stay. Leticia laughs and hugs her. Even 40 years wouldn't be enough with you. Marjorie sighs. I was going to hold a ball, but the new moonlight wine just arrived, so I changed it to a wine tasting party. Then she mutters, the wine is good, but unfortunately wine tasting parties are open events anyone can get in. Leticia pokes her face and laughs. These are the troubles of a successful entrepreneur. Can't be helped. Leticia now increasingly realizes that in Cantor, what matters most isn't bloodline, but wealth. In this purely capitalist nation, even Olivia, who committed theft, can't openly move around here despite paying compensation. Dealing with Olivia is just the first step. Next, there's still Leonica, Aster, and his family. Therefore, compared to the reluctance of parting, she looks forward more to returning to Northland to begin her revenge. The wine tasting party is crowded, and Leticia calmly handles the gentlemen who approach her. At this moment, Edgar steps forward. Rose, would you like to dance with me? She readily places her hand in his. Let's go quickly, or there won't be any space left. Edgar's face instantly flushes, and he says excitedly, I'm really happy to dance with you. Me too, Edgar. Slowly stepping into the dance floor, in this moment Leticia feels like she's returned to her girlhood, chatting with strangers, laughing heartily at small things. She hasn't been this relaxed in a long time. But at this moment, a petite figure suddenly crashes into her embrace. The person has blue hair and pink pupils. It's actually Leonica. Looking at her pitiful expression, the suppressed hatred in Leticia's heart instantly erupts. How is she here? Just as Leticia almost thinks she's drunk and hallucinating, Leonica speaks softly. I'm sorry, madam. Are you all right? Leticia quickly recovers, composes her expression, and smiles slightly. I'm fine, just startled. Leonica notices the wine stain on her dress and exclaims, oh my, your dress! She's about to pull her away. We need to clean it up quickly. I'm so sorry. Leticia gently pulls her hand back. No need, I can handle it myself. Please let go first. Leonica has to say, then please wait here, I'll be right back. After saying this, she hurries toward the restroom. Leticia's mind is full of questions. Why is Leonica here? Could this also be one of the tests? But His Highness clearly said, all tests have ended, and specifically warned her to stay away from Leonica and butler Michelle. Could Michelle or Aster also be here? As she ponders, a familiar figure comes into view. The middle-aged man standing not far away is actually Duke Karl Hirschbent. Duke Karl Hirschbent notices Leticia in the crowd and speaks up. Lady, I have something I'd like to ask you. After speaking, he curls his finger, gesturing for her to come over. Leticia responds bluntly, that's not a very polite way to address a lady. Karl looks surprised. Is this considered rude? It seems you're not from around here? Leticia asks. Unexpectedly, Karl immediately bows in apology. If I've offended you, I sincerely apologize. I'm Karl Hirschbent, from another continent. I'm still unfamiliar with the customs here. Please forgive me. He turns out to be a well-mannered gentleman. Leticia responds with a smile. It's all right. I appreciate that you're willing to apologize. After she introduces herself, Karl explains his purpose. I'm looking for a companion. She's a young lady around your age, with blue hair and pink eyes. Have you seen her? Alarm bells ring in Leticia's mind. What is Leonica planning? Why would she appear together with Duke Hirschbent? She decides to probe first, so she points toward the tasting area. She seems to have gone that way. Then she leads Karl to a seat, planning to get him drunk and extract the truth. Wait here for a moment. I'll send someone to find her. She calls over a servant and whispers, add something strong to the wine. The servant understands perfectly and soon brings over a specially mixed drink. Karl picks up the glass and sniffs. This wine smells quite strong. Are you drinking too, lady? Don't get drunk after just a few sips. Leticia smiles charmingly. We'll find out by trying, won't we? Half an hour later, Karl slumps over the table drunk, while Leticia remains sober. She feigns concern. Do you need me to call a carriage for you? He covers his face and shakes his head. No, I can't leave. I came to catch that thief. Leticia follows up smoothly. There's been a theft case in Cantor recently as well. A lady invited to a tea party actually stole jewelry from other guests. I heard she's from Northland, with green hair and golden eyes. Carl's eyes suddenly widen, and he seems half-sobered. Letitia continues with concern. You mentioned earlier you're looking for a thief? Did you lose something? At this moment, Carl's expression darkens terribly. Yes, what I lost was my daughter's reputation. Why do you say that? Letitia can't help but smile slightly. The truth is about to surface, Carl says through gritted teeth, because she wants to steal my daughter's husband. Whenever that thief comes to see my son-in-law, the two of them get entangled. I simply drove her out of Northland. I just didn't expect she'd dare to chase him all the way to Cantor for a secret meeting. But how do you know she's in Cantor? Letitia asks. My companion told me. If I let this continue, she'll only ruin my daughter's marriage. I must catch her. As soon as he finishes speaking, Carl passes out drunk. At this moment, Letitia is certain Leonica has betrayed Olivia, and Olivia will never sit idly by. She plans to expose Leonica's secrets. So Leonica chooses to ally with Carl, using his hand to eliminate Olivia. It's a good thing when enemies turn on each other, but the power difference between them is vast. While thinking of a countermeasure, Letitia catches sight of Leonica in the distance, looking around anxiously. So she approaches proactively and asks, "Are you looking for me?" Leonica pouts aggrievedly. "Lady, I've been looking for you forever. When I came back with water and soap, you were gone." A plan instantly forms. Since Olivia can't beat Leonica, why not pretend to help Leonica and gain her trust? Thinking this, Letitia immediately puts on a smile. Sorry. The event organizer suddenly needed to discuss something urgent with me. Hearing she's the host, Leonica's eyes light up, and she warmly links arms with her. You're amazing! By the way, we haven't properly introduced ourselves yet. She gives her name first. Her smile is innocent as a flower. Letitia feigns surprise. So you're Miss Leonica. I'm delighted to meet you. You've heard of me? Leonica is flattered. Letitia smiles, of course. Aren't you Astor Winchester's fiancé? He asked me earlier to look after you when you came to Cantor. Oh my, what fate! Leonica says in delight. Letitia responds with a smile. Since we've reunited, let me reintroduce myself. I'm Anna Rose Victoire. Leonica links arms with her like old friends and invites her to the lounge to clean her dress. But Letitia gently pulls her hand away and mentions casually, a gentleman named Carl Hirschbent was looking for you earlier. Leonica's expression flickers. He's my companion. I almost forgot. I was planning to leave after the wine tasting. Then let me take you to him. Saying this, Letitia links arms with Leonica. The two walk together toward the exit of the ballroom. Leonica suddenly asks, Anna Rose, since you're the host, you must know a lot of people, right? Letitia is slightly displeased by her overly familiar address. I suppose so. Why? Have you seen a woman with green hair and golden eyes around my age? Letitia acts hesitant. There are so many people here. Let me help you look. Just as they reach a secluded corner, a figure silently approaches and suddenly grabs Leonica's neck from behind, dragging her into the shadows. Letitia immediately chases forward. What are you doing? The person presses a knife to Leonica's throat and hisses fiercely, Shut up! Make a sound and I'll slit her throat. Letitia finally sees through the disguise. It's Olivia. Reaching a deserted corner, Olivia stops. Leonica looks up with teary eyes. What's wrong, Olivia? Aren't we friends? Olivia sneers. Friends? You're still pretending. You're the one who brought Duke Hirschbent here. Leonica is instantly speechless. Letitia takes the opportunity to step forward. Olivia, don't do this. Let go of Lady Leonica first, okay? Olivia slowly turns her head. When I was protesting my innocence at the tea party, why didn't you speak up for me? Such twisted logic leaves Letitia momentarily speechless. Olivia throws Leonica to the ground, pins her down and threatens. Contact your butler immediately and have him hand over all your money and documents. But Leonica continues to provoke her. Olivia, didn't Michelle tell you? Robin doesn't want to see you at all. You're lying. You're deliberately trying to break us up. Olivia flies into a rage, grabs her hair and points the knife at her throat. Enough talk, send the telegram. At this moment, a hand suddenly grabs Olivia's knife-wielding hand. The knife clatters to the ground, and in the next second she's subdued. Michelle calmly looks up. Miss, are you all right? Just as Letitia is surprised by his appearance, Leonica suddenly throws herself into her arms, sobbing. Anna Rose, without you, I would have. Letitia soothes softly. Don't be afraid, it's over now. She holds Leonica tight. This is the crucial moment to gain her trust. One day, she will personally end this woman. Suddenly, a piercing scream cuts through the silence. They turn around and witness a horrifying scene. Michelle viciously stabs the knife into Olivia's chest. Olivia collapses to the ground, blood pooling around her, lifeless. Leonica screams, Michelle, what are you doing? Having just taken a life, Michelle's face remains ice cold, his calmness chilling. She was going to kill you. Naturally, I had to eliminate the threat. A chill runs down Letitia's spine. To protect Leonica's secrets, he's this ruthless. Leonica turns to Letitia in panic. Killing someone in Cantor. What happens? Letitia is silent for a moment, then answers gravely, you could claim self-defense, but he cannot. Moreover, the victim is a noble. His actions constitute a capital crime. Leonica's expression changes drastically. Capital crime? Is there no other way? She grabs Letitia's hand, eyes brimming with tears. Please help me. I'm the last bloodline of House Snow-Eyed. Michelle is the only family I have left. I can't lose him. She acts pitiful, but Letitia knows their relationship is far from simple. This is the perfect chance to uncover her weakness. Letitia says softly, this is very difficult to handle, but I don't want to see you lose family over someone like that. And for the reputation of the wine tasting, I also hope to keep this quiet. She wipes away Leonica's tears and asks in a low voice, do you understand what I mean? Leonica smiles with relief. Of course I understand. To be safe, Letitia states her condition. You must promise that even if this is exposed, you won't implicate me. Leonica immediately agrees, of course. I'll say you weren't even there. At the edge of the dark cliff, a heavy wine barrel is thrown into the sea. Letitia watches coldly as the waves swallow everything. Her first enemy has now completely disappeared. After the matter is resolved, Letitia has Leonica and Michelle leave first, wanting to be alone for a while. This familiar method stirs an indescribable feeling in her heart. Thinking this is just the first step of revenge, she can't help but feel afraid. What awaits her ahead? At this moment, Theo's voice comes from behind. So you're here. I heard you were caught up in a conflict. Are you hurt? Seeing Letitia's silence, he gently turns her shoulder and pulls her into his embrace. Why aren't you talking? Looks like I worried for nothing. Feeling his solid support, Letitia finally drops her facade. Your Highness, I'm so scared. Anna Rose, what did they do to you? A trace of worry flashes in Theo's eyes. Michelle killed Olivia. I helped them put the body in a wine barrel and throw it into the sea. To prevent the barrel from floating up after decomposition, we filled it with sand, completely covering up her death. Tears well up in Letitia's eyes. I know this is a necessary step for revenge, but I'm scared. Scared that I'll become a monster, just like them. Theo holds her tighter. So that's what you're worried about. He gently wipes away her tears. You're absolutely nothing like them, Anna Rose, and you won't become like that. How can you be so sure? Letitia remains dejected. Though I often scold you, I will never stand by and watch you fall. Theo's tone is very serious. That's because my deal with your Highness isn't over yet, Letitia asks dejectedly. Theo plants a kiss on her forehead. Don't mention the deal, and don't worry about becoming a monster. If you're afraid to act, I'll be the monster for you and eliminate them. Is this also part of the covenant? Letitia sheds 2 lines of tears. Theo smiles slightly. If my personal feelings can count, then yes, I suppose so. Letitia feels even more conflicted. Why does he always do things that make her hopeful? She says softly. Sometimes, I really don't understand your Highness. Theo smiles as he ties her scarf. Don't you just see me as a sleeping pill anyway? He gently tugs the scarf. If you need someone by your side, come find me, Anna Rose. Letitia's eyes grow hot. What if the walls I've worked so hard to build around my heart collapse? I actually hope they do. After speaking, he kisses her deeply. A few days later, Letitia sees off Duke Karl Hirschbent at the dock. Karl says, what a shame. If I could stay longer, we might have become good friends. Letitia chuckles. With your alcohol tolerance, I'm afraid you can't be my friend. Karl laughs heartily at this. He turns to Leonica beside him. Lady Leonica, are you sure you won't return with me? Yes, I still have matters to handle here, Leonica answers. Karl nods. All right then, but I'd like to confirm one last time. Is everything truly resolved? Leonica smiles brightly, of course. After my persuasion, Miss Olivia has left and will never appear before you again. I didn't expect you to be so persuasive, Karl remarks with admiration. Only now does Letitia understand that Duke Hirschbent's original intention was merely to have Olivia live in anonymity. Unexpectedly, Leonica suddenly links her arm. Your Grace, actually, this was all thanks to Miss Anna Rose's help. She arranged the ship for Olivia's departure. Letitia instantly frowns. They agreed to keep it secret, yet Leonica has already implicated her so quickly. She looks at Leonica, who appears completely innocent. Miss Anna Rose, I'm praising you. Please don't be modest. Sensing the awkward atmosphere between them, Karl quickly smooths things over. It seems I've caused the Countess quite a bit of trouble in this short time. Next time you visit Northland, I'll certainly treat you well. After speaking, he boards the ship and departs. Watching the ship sail away, Leonica speaks first. Thanks to your perfect handling, nothing has been discovered to this day, and it never will be discovered. Never, Letitia adds. That this matter could be handled so cleanly is thanks to Edgar's reminder. He suggested putting stones in the barrel first before filling it with sand to prevent the body from floating to the surface. Letitia was surprised at the time. How do you know these things? Edgar smiled bitterly. Before inheriting the family business, I experienced quite a few things myself, pulling back her thoughts. Letitia asks about Leonica's reason for staying. Leonica says hesitantly, I want to prepare some gifts for my fiancé and his family elders. Letitia suddenly remembers she once tried to please her in-laws this way too, only to have her mother-in-law throw the gifts on the ground, complaining she brought too little. She can't help but sigh. That'll be quite an expense. Sure enough, a trace of bitterness crosses Leonica's face, yes. Having said this much, Letitia prepares to take her leave. Leonica says with a smile, Miss Anna Rose, thank you so much for keeping my secret. Letitia responds with an even brighter smiles. Secret? What are you talking about? Nothing happened between us. Leonica quickly agrees. Right, exactly. After returning home, Letitia and Edgar play poker. After losing several rounds, Edgar can't help but complain. Rose, you're amazing. You even play poker this well. Letitia laughs happily. And I can drink better than you too, poor Edgar. Looking at her smiling face, Edgar's eyes are full of unconcealed affection. Rose, you're really smart. You even remembered to cite Cantor law that night. I was originally worried about being discovered, since it only constitutes a capital crime if both parties are from Cantor. But even if someone finds out now, we can claim we were too panicked and cited the wrong statute. Edgar suddenly changes the subject. Rose, there's something personal I want to ask you. May I? Tell me first, Letitia answers. But his question stuns Letitia. You and His Highness Theo? What is your relationship? She freezes for a moment, then answers softly. I owe His Highness a debt, and I'm working to repay it. Edgar's tone becomes agitated. You know that's not what I'm asking. Letitia can't give him the answer he wants. I'm sorry, Edgar. His eyes darken. It's fine. I expected as much, seeing the pained expression on her face. Edgar feels even more hurt. Don't look at me like that. I'm asking because I want to tell you. You always have another choice. Letitia avoids his outstretched hand. I'm sorry, Edgar. Right now, I'm like someone already dead. I don't dare hope for new feelings. The debt I owe His Highness inevitably comes with conditions. Not just for you. There are no exceptions for anyone. This answer actually gives Edgar a glimmer of hope. He stands up. Even so, please remember, as long as you're alive, you can change the future. He gently touches her face. I hope I'm in your future. Speaking, Edgar leans close to Letitia, gazing intently into her eyes. At this moment, an angry voice sounds from behind. That's enough! Langham stands there drenched in cold sweat, while the speaker is Theo, gripping his shoulder tightly. He frowns deeply, his face full of displeasure. I made you her guardian, not told you to touch her. Edgar's expression also darkens, Your Highness. This is my home. I have the right to express my feelings to the woman I admire. But the woman you want to touch is my agent, Theo says in a low voice. The way you put it makes me very unhappy. Edgar is somewhat displeased. Theo sits down directly. Bear with it. I've been unhappy for several minutes now. If you want to play romantic games, go find someone at the port. Edgar raises his voice. How can this be a game? Even if you don't understand these feelings, you shouldn't speak so excessively. Theo is stunned at this, then chuckles lightly. Your so-called nobility is confessing to a woman about to face life and death choices, disturbing her mind and persuading her to give up revenge and returning home. He reaches out and pulls Letitia to his side. Don't forget, I created Anna Rose Victoire. Her hair color, eyes, clothing, even her personality were all shaped by my hand. What right do you have to claim any rights to her in front of me? He turns to Letitia. You tell me, do you want to forget your hatred and start a new life here? Letitia immediately shakes her head. No, Your Highness, I have never forgotten our deal. Good. Theo looks coldly at Edgar. It seems I'm not the one breaking up you noble lovers. Edgar is heartbroken, yet still longs for a clear response from Letitia. But she can only refuse softly, I'm sorry. The meaning of my survival is revenge. In the end, Edgar departs dejectedly with Langham. Only two people remain in the room. Theo sighs lightly, pulling Letitia into his arms. You certainly have a lot of troubles. Just as she's about to speak, he interrupts. No need to explain. I know you have no feelings for Edgar. You just said no exceptions. For anyone? He asks in a low voice. Letitia nods gently. Theo smiles with relief. Good thing you understand your situation. His fingertips gently brush across her lips, finally burying his face in her shoulder. Strange. Why do I feel so terrible? Why are you in a bad mood, Your Highness? I know your loyalty, but I don't want loyalty to be all that remains between us. Theo looks up, gazing deeply into her eyes. If you must love someone, then love me, Anna Rose Victoire. If you're to perfectly play the role of a lover, you should belong to me completely. But Letitia shakes her head. I don't dare have those thoughts about Your Highness. Nor can I do so. What if I allow it? A trace of anticipation flashes in Theo's eyes. She closes her eyes. Can she love again? The pain of Astor's fists is still fresh in her memory. Even if Theo is different from him, she cannot bear to be betrayed again. That would utterly destroy her. This affection only fills her with fear. You don't need to bind me this way. Having made a covenant, I will never betray you. She gently pushes away from his embrace. Right now, I cannot give you an answer. Theo gazes at her deeply and pulls her close again. Don't make me wait too long, Anna Rose. My patience is limited. Poker cards scatter across the floor as they once again indulge in fantasy, escaping the weight of reality. The next day, Leonica invites Letitia to go shopping together. In the cafe, she asks with concern, You don't look well. Are you all right? Business has been too busy lately, often leaving me distracted. Letitia answers. Leonica puts on that pitiful look again. I'm so grateful you're willing to accompany me when you're so busy. Letitia remains unmoved and simply asks, After buying gifts, will you be leaving Cantor, Miss Leonica? Leonica opens up tentatively. Actually, I'm still looking for someone. Letitia's tone is gentle. Is it someone important? If you don't mind, you can tell me. Leonica hesitates, sort of family. But she might not want to acknowledge me. After hesitating a moment, she finally confesses. I'm looking for my half-sister. Her mother was a maid, so she couldn't use the Snow-Eyed surname. But even so, I've always treated her as my real sister. But how are you certain your sister is still alive? Letitia asks. Because on the day of the fire, only her body wasn't found. Later After someone told me they saw her go out that night, doubt rises in Letitia's mind. Why didn't that sister return home? She should have been worried about her mother who was a maid. And Leonica never mentioned family before. Why suddenly search for this sister? She gently holds Leonica's hand, her tone warm. Can you tell me more about your sister? Perhaps I can help. But Leonica looks troubled. Someone said they saw someone resembling her on a ship to Cantor, but I'm not sure if she's still here. Letitia lets go accordingly. That makes it difficult. After all, it's hard to find someone who might not even be here. Hearing this, Leonica panics and quickly grabs Letitia. I'm sorry, this request may be excessive, but please help me. Letitia secretly takes control while still appearing hesitant, finally agreeing. Leonica describes she has blue eyes and hair with a cat-shaped mole on her left wrist, so her nickname is Kitty. Letitia's heart stirs. Is this the weakness Leonica was willing to have Olivia killed to hide? The topic of finding her sister pauses for now as they continue shopping. They walk arm in arm like a pair of close friends, but Letitia knows in her heart that she's quietly leading Leonica toward the abyss of destruction. After shopping, as Letitia gets off the carriage, Marjorie comes up to her. How did shopping with that woman feel? Wasn't it unsettling? I'm not afraid anymore. However, I discovered something strange. All her purchases are on credit, and she keeps delaying even the 10% deposit. Marjorie also finds it odd. Could she have cash flow problems? As the heir to an earl's house, she should possess enormous wealth. Letitia falls into thought. Astor's family once counted on Leonica to bring a generous dowry. As the sole survivor of the fire, she should have inherited a vast fortune. Yet now she's in financial difficulty. Is this related to searching for her sister? Perhaps Leonica has more than one weakness. Marjorie hands over a glass of wine. The more weaknesses an enemy has, the easier revenge becomes. Letitia takes a small sip and praises, "This wine is really good." The two begin tasting the Beaumont family's new products. Before long, Marjorie gets drunk, and Letitia asks Edgar to take her back to her room. This time she herself is rarely tipsy, so she goes alone to the garden to sober up. Just as she closes her eyes to rest, a figure silently approaches. "Did you sleep well?" Michelle suddenly appears, bowing. Letitia jolts awake. "How are you here? Only this way can I speak with you alone." Michelle's tone is emotionless. He bows again. "Thank you for overlooking my previous small mistake. I've been wanting to thank you personally." Letitia watches him warily. "You're trespassing. If that's all you have to say, please leave. You needn't be so guarded." Michelle pauses briefly. "It seems I need to introduce myself first. I'm the head butler of House Snow-Eyed. Michelle, come. You've been getting close to Our Lady recently. You seem to be on good terms." Letitia frowns. "If you want me to get along well with Leonica, you shouldn't suddenly come looking for me. But I'm truly worried because you seem to carry the aura of Saul. You're living here with him now, aren't you?" Michelle asks. Letitia's heart jumps. His Highness always claims publicly to be staying at Duke Sullivan's. No one knows he's moved to the Beaumont estate. How does Michelle know? She forces composure. "I don't understand what you're talking about. If you want to see His Highness..." "Theo, you've come to the wrong place." But Michelle shows a mysterious smile. "Lady, I possess a special sense of smell. Everyone carries a unique aura, and I can identify people through their scent." He lightly lifts a strand of her hair and sniffs. "Strangely, I've clearly never met you before. Yet your aura feels familiar to me." Letitia hastily pushes him away. "You've mistaken me for someone else. I've never been to Northland." "Not necessarily," Michelle says meaningfully. "In your case, your original aura is covered by a stronger presence." "What do you mean?" Letitia has an ominous premonition. "I mean, you're covered with a thick layer of Soul's divine power." Michelle's crimson pupils stare at her intently, as if to see through her. "That power keeps emanating from deep within your body. Have you made an oath with him?" Letitia can no longer handle this. "You trespass and spout nonsense at me. How incredibly rude." She turns to leave. "If you have nothing else to say, please go." But Michelle speaks again. "Lady, do you know, though a Saul's oath is absolute, there are ways to break it. If you need to make a deal, you can come find me." At this moment, Theo's words suddenly echo in her ears. "If you must love someone, then love me." Letitia asks coldly. "Why should I trust you?" Michelle merely smiles slightly. "You'll regret this sooner or later. I hope it won't be too late then." When she turns around, he's already disappeared without a trace. Letitia walks back to her room unsettled, only to encounter Theo waiting in the living room. His expression carries a melancholy she's never seen before. She stops before him, and after a long moment, finally asks softly, "Why me? Your Highness clearly has so many choices." Theo frowns slightly. "People mistakenly believe I like perfect things, so they do everything to create the most perfect works, just to please me." This answer stings her heart. "So you're tired of perfection and seeking novelty instead?" He sets down his wine glass and stands. "I'm the one who gave you new life. Just novelty? Those things can't compare to you at all, Rose." Theo pulls her into his embrace, his tone unprecedentedly gentle. "You are mine. Completely and utterly mine." Yet just as his lips are about to descend, images of Astor controlling her suddenly flash, possessing without cherishing, abandoning when bored. Is this what Theo wants too? Letitia raises her hand to gently cover his lips. "You said if I must love someone, I should love you." She gently breaks free from his embrace. "But if your Highness wants me to be of one heart with you, I cannot. It seems I've become too intoxicated by warmth I've never had, to the point where I no longer urgently want revenge but desire a true heart instead." She takes a step back, maintaining distance. Yes, as your vassal, I'm willing to give you everything you want, but if you only want possession, I cannot love you. After speaking, she turns and leaves. Theo remains alone where he stands, the indescribable heartache making him lift his glass and take a light sip. So bitter, he murmurs, touching his forehead. Whether speaking of the wine or his heart, no one knows.